You know my get body. They were playing for a game, what they really. Barry, Jerry, my name. Money, we did a bad. Mamma, your way, was your Makia, guess I went. Mamma, if you go your way. Mammy, I guess I went. You'll be war. Oh, Mamma, gave one day, go away, you. What you say, you will that's your way. See, I gave Roddy. John Dolu. Did I didn't know that you know what to do? Oh, yeah, so go down. Yeah, so yeah, that's my yes, I am. What I was saying, you know. Yeah, go up there, what? Yeah. I'm on the other half of my wallet. You be well, yeah, you didn't know. You be well, yeah, you be well. Mamma, where you now? Say that, but I won't be able to bring it. You won't be down with your way. I'm all for my get with you. South of Red. Go for I won't get it to power. Yeah, didn't know. Go be wood, go be wood, Louis. Yeah, Louis. That's why I say, yeah, didn't know. Yeah, Mamma, where you now? Didn't know. You be what? Didn't know. I don't. Why don't go? Nothing I don't go, you know. Yes, yeah. Look what you are there. You be what? Didn't know. You be didn't know. You be what? Didn't know. You be jump on the matter. That they are for Lua Blau. You be didn't know. You be Oh, yeah, always your blue. Didn't know. Oh.
Good evening. So, welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with me. Oh, yes. Good evening. So, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much. Who is the duo here that we're going to know eventually during the course of the program? Today is Wednesday, and it is your informative news magazine, All Things Considered, right here from the Diaspora Informative News Magazine, Liberia Public Radio. And of course, I am your host and chief facilitator, Alfonso Zienso, right here in controls this evening, that I guarantee all of your civil liberties seized by the liberal wing of this network will be restored. We want to take this time to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to Brittany. Thank you for being here. Pretty, thank you for being here. And of course, our own prime-time viewer, listener, follower, Helen Wilson. Good evening. I'm not sure whether you were here. The liberal put his foot in his mouth last night. Unbelievable. Maliman, good to have you here. I hope I'm not causing trouble here calling names so other kind of way. Veronica, good to be here. To Rebecca Decanty, thank you so much. I got much to thank God for favor. Wow. What a good combinations of name there. Thank you so much. And all of our good friends, Esther, Charisma, CC, James Willie, Adolphus, Crispy, Kelvin, all of you along the way. Susie, thank you so much. Abdullah Khan, Xavier, and of course, Anand, Jerome to Robert, all of our viewers and listeners across the globe. I want to thank you so much for joining us this evening, wherever you are, morning, afternoon. We say good to have you here. This is the Liberia Public Radio, the network that gives you the authority to speak your mind, to express your views, your opinion. However, whatever expressed on this network, Mr. Robert, good to have you here. It is not a view of the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio, but we do facilitate these hardcore conversations, sometimes uncomfortable to deal with us, but yet them still came, John. Robert, good to have you in the building. Just do us a favor if you can just hit the share button at your end, just to also have someone to tune in so that we'll talk about our country, we'll talk some of the goods of our government, some of the things that are not happening, the society, and even to hold ourselves accountable to what are we doing? Are we also having or playing our sheer responsibility as people of Liberia, regardless of us being in the country or out of the country? I strongly believe we do have a sheer responsibility as a people, as a country, and as a nation. It doesn't matter whether we are in Liberia, but things that we do, what we exhibit, of course, justified what we stand for and how we want our country to progress. And here at Lpr, we have commented the various views, dissenting views that agree and disagree with us as well. We allow you, we don't sanction voices, we don't cut people off. It is only 1% on this network that have adopted this tradition, but we will, in the interest of fairness, rise, stand, and fight against those people who want to take Liberia as of their own. Victor Morgan, falling from Robinsonville, that is in New Jersey. My man Vic, I will be coming down there for some pepper. So anything, just make sure you keep some for me. You keep some for me. You know the weather now come, the season finishing now. We gotta keep that doing. Okay, well, folks, we want to welcome you. I'm Afonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. This is the rhythm that introduces the program. All things considered right here, right now, on this Diaspora Informative News outlet. Time check in the East Coast is 8:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to the show. Yeah, that's a song that introduces the program. Good evening, good evening. We say welcome to today's editions of All Things Considered right here on the Diaspora Informative News Magazine. Beautiful weather here in the East Coast. It's not still bad. It's still good. We're still hanging in there, but as time goes by, trust me, this weather going to change. If this is the first time, we say you are wholehearted welcome. You are to rifle it, locate it, find yourself this event on the Diaspora Informative News Magazine, Liberia Public Radio, Lpr-Tv. Very shortly, the analysts, the contributors, the pundits, the liberals, and all of his allies will surface here and will begin to scramble on some of the news making headlines. And of course, this network, we intend not to leave no one behind. Only one person here always is trying to exclude you into the national conversation. And this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. We will not allow that. These people who wants to take our country from us, and they think they can sit behind the microphone and preach and do whatever they want to do, that's not going to happen on our watch. We are fighting the good fight. We want your voices to be heard, regardless of your political associations or your political attachment, because we know it is common, it is a tradition in the country where you do not seek political shelter, your voice becomes minimum. They don't listen to you. They don't play you mind. They see you as not part of the integer, which of course is not the case. So we are here to square it and balance it out. This is why we represent the independent voices. Independent, we say it. We do not antagonize. When it is good, we say it. When it is bad, we say it. And beyond that, we make recommendations. We don't just critique and walk away. Unlike another wing of this network, led by the liberal and his guys, they have created a mass choir, which feels is dangerous. And sadly, it has its own base. So it is a clear understanding, like the saying goes, there is no bad bush for a child. I have been confronted many times in Minnesota, Philadelphia, even in my own ocean state of Rhode Island, for standing against the liberal and his ally, Jerry Bacon. Terry Collins, somehow, some way, is still hanging in there and trying to move in the wing of the liberal. Sister Goya, the Minnesota politicians, as perfectly described by the liberal, he's only looking for one person job, Zanza Kawa. The man was seeking election. They stole his car battery. He can't even go anywhere to campaign. How can this guy be unforgiving to still say he wants to contest against this guy? Amos George, the man from the far left, the history of Georgia, you know that. Potentially, we were hearing he was going to be the police chief in Banga. Trust me, you're going to be showing your citizen ID card before you cross Salala or whatever gate. like Amos George. Alice Comey has won that election to be the police chief or immigration chief. Before you bring a banana to time, you're going to give your ID. We gain our liberty. That did not happen. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Zienso, and we're going to be having a conversation very shortly. We'll try as much as possible to activate this line so as to give you your voice into this conversation. It's all things considered. All things considered is perfectly suited to allow you to speak your mind about your country. Sometimes we drive this narrative and it doesn't suit your taste. Not everybody is politically grounded. So we want to give you the opportunity to also speak your mind. And that's the beauty of like the Republic. We do not have to wait for any senator, representative, whatever government officials. Not that we do not reach out to them, but they want to be spoon-fed. They want us to set a dining table to breakfast, lunch for them in terms of kind of questions we want to ask. No, that's not what we do here. And this is why you see the analyst on this network. Now, like Sister Goya, he doesn't hold back. He doesn't even care that I am the facilitator when whether he come at me. Forgetting to know, I can tell him if I feel that he wants to cause trouble, I can tell him, but he doesn't care. And we don't do that because we respect the views of the people. There is no public network now to allow people to speak their mind. And the society of today calls for that. Where we will say you agree and disagree with me, or we call for civil conversation, civility in our national conversation, because we all love our country in different forms and shape. Except people are unable to make a reasonable and convincing argument as to why their party or their candidate is the best. This is where the disconnect comes in. So these people do not want us to ask them questions. But guess what? The analysts on this network, they are capable, they are equipped, they are well informed, and they can talk on these issues. And we value your presence because we learned a lot of lessons from you. Your interactions are in holding us accountable and even holding your peers on the live views on things that I talk about, how you disagree with them, and you put your point through. This is what good for our country. This is what democracy is all about. But the liberal wing of this network led, cheer, and host Samson Brown Toll from Sacramento, California. The name California is synonymous to liberal. That's the liberal stronghold there. He has galvanized his money to pull people, recruiting people, doing everything possible he can to liberalize this network. Yes, I did send that. If you don't get it, I'm going to get it back again. But let me send that to everybody. So just bear with me. I'm going to do that. Okay, folks. Let's take a quick commercial break, and I will be right back. Interestingly, there's a program coming out very soon from our guy from neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire. It's going to be fascinating. Let's shoot this clip and I'll be right back. Analyst, for those of you who don't get it, I will still try to send this link back to you guys. Let's take a break and I'll be right back.
Life is a journey, and as you travel down the line, you may remember something, the joy and tragedy in a story manner.
I'd like to remember that one point of my life, growing up was very, very difficult for me as a child.
The Liberia Public Radio gives you the opportunity in a live interview to express your past. In this program, I Remembered.
I remember, and I will never forget my day of salvation.
And I remember growing up as a child, when I lost my dad, it was a very terrible time of healing.
Join Benjamin Tibet, our international correspondent, on +225 07 4770 9404, +225 0505 67 5438. I Remembered, the podium where your voice is heard.
Okay, that program is coming soon. I remember. I'm waiting. I can't wait. You see the little script that is about Abidjan to be achieved will be coming out of that program very shortly, coming soon on LPR. I remember the implications is so much huge. It can be the good things, it can be the bad things, it can be whatever life experience situation, but the idea you remember, you retrospect, you're telling your own story. These are things we are trying to do to package on this network. So keep watching out. Remember, with our man Benjamin Tigbe is our La Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan to be achieved. It is a real-time conversation he's going to be having with folks in Abidjan. It could be Liberian, people of diverse backgrounds. We are not sectionalists, we are not tribalists, we are not but our microphone, as we launch, you're willing to talk to us. The microphone would come right at your doorstep. Mr. Goya, just check and resend that link again to all of you guys. We say good evening. Welcome. A little bit of side maze there, but I'm still feeling hard. The ocean state of Rhode Island and its surroundings, in less than a week, death strike two of our comrades. It's just unbelievable. It happened when I was in Philadelphia. Went back. This other brother. Let me just put a picture here. Our prayers and talk goes out to the family, to the bereaved. Cumber San G. Brown. San G. Brown is a true friend. It's a brother. He lives here in the ocean state of Rhode Island. A progressive, young, determined man. A week ago, passed away right here in the ocean state of Rhode Island. As a matter of fact, his house, his home, is just within the same proximity, just a few blocks away. Passed away on that was last week, and I came from Philadelphia Sunday. Saturday, this other brother, Kevin Tidwidi. Kevin's is true friend. Also, he lives actually in Massachusetts in the town of Taunton, which is just a few blocks away from me. He was assigned there in the same, what they call this group, gentleman club something. He was just at the house on Saturday. His daughters should be graduating. The story went on from what we were told. Prepare, set up everything for graduation on Sunday, set up to celebrate his daughter. And guess what? After everything, he decided to take a rest. And at the end of the day, in the process of taking his rest, Kevin did not wake up again, and that was the end of it. What a trouble war we are in. Our prayers and talk goes out to the bereaved family. Okay, the analysts, they are here. So we're about to usher them in. And I'm not gonna be like him. Yeah, we have one guy in California there who is the most ridiculous guy on this network. He's here. I'm not going to keep him backstage. I'm not like him. My Israeli type does not call for that. We got to make these guys to end good. But let me bring in the scholar himself, Sister Goya. The guy formerly used to be the broom man. I don't know what happened to the broom. Whether the broom going to come by 2020, I don't know, 2020 now or 2030, we don't know. But Sister Goya is joining us from his studio in Minneapolis, Minnesota, is here with us. Ooh, the chief from Lofa County, who is doing everything possible to take old man Zanza Kawa job. Be aware what you're looking for. So now, interestingly, he's here. When he comes on my show, I treat him with respect, with dignity. But when he's on his show, he tells us he is in charge, being very authoritative. That's typical African man from Total Grand Gile. Authoritative. See him. See him. See him. See him. This is the guy who is trying to seize people to voices on this network with his friend, a guy called Jerry Bacon, one of the Boshians on this network. Okay, gentlemen, so good evening. This is All Things Considered right here as usual. Every Wednesday, we are here to sort it all out in different forms, share agreement, disagreement, and all of that. But Sese, let me just let you know, I'm not sure whether you are part of the fries or maybe, I don't know, because sometimes you kind of send messages here. The liberal issue on ultimatums or some sort of warning yesterday, it's almost like Benjamin Netanyahu setting the rail line at the United Nations that Palestinians shouldn't do this. He's now saying, moving forward, I will not be part of his show. Dr. Mali, who is one of the independent guys who tries to do everything possible to balance Sisi, it seems to me you are not moving in my direction here. If that's the case, then I'm going to rest my case.
Oh, no, I just heard you use the word independent and Mali together. That was shaking my head. But go ahead.
Oh my God. How would this night be like?
He was so kind. You know, I'm not a brave man for the ground.
Yeah, this is disappointing to me. Okay, again, let me repeat myself. Dr. Mali Jones, one of the independent voices of this network. What are you laughing for?
The independent advocate.
Yeah?
The independent better advocate.
Oh my goodness. Oh God. So Libra said now we will not be coming on his show. I didn't hear your name, so more likely you will be part of the prayer because he's going to be pre-syncing. And anybody who doesn't or who opposes President Boycott, and you are not part of his wagon. Can you imagine? I'm not sure you are a guy who's strong, who believes in those values. That's not who you are by virtue of your profession. You are open of that, but politicians like you as well, nothing is guaranteed. Good evening, guys. Welcome. Let's have a conversation. Let me welcome to my own sister here, Esther Clark Frederick. Yeah, she's my own friend. Fatumata, or whatever. She is being indoctrinated by the liberal wing of this network. So we will see how it plays out. Gentlemen, happy Wednesday. Good to have you. The liberal.
So thank you very much for having us, sis. Fatima, thank you for joining us. We appreciate all of you guys. The Libra is here again tonight, and we're going to have a beautiful, beautiful show, Mr. So.
Okay, Mr. Goya.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what we have to do with the Minnesota school system now. They really, really killing us too, but hey, what to do?
This is my busiest time of the year. We're getting ready for
graduation. Just reach out to us. Nothing much big. Anything about Liberia. We always like to showcase it. You can come here, Mr. Goya. Just send us your how much for promotions. Let's send us your contacts. You can message us, inbox. Tell us how to reach out to you. Definitely, then we'll. Oh my goodness, Fatuma. I was so deceived. This lady, I thought she was in my column, but it looked like I don't know how liberal managed, but we'll see. I am not going to give up. I'm going to fight. Mr. Soul, yeah, just in loud. Venetia too. Wow. Sister, carry on.
No, it's been a while. I've been very busy. You know, we
we're preparing for graduations across our district and school closures. So it's been really crazy. But it's nice to be back. Apologies to our audience. I've been gone for a long time. I know my brother Brickable will hear that I'm back. He will come back today to call me. But special shout out to our sister Fatuma VM Sharif. She is one consistent viewer on this show. Every time the show pop up, they're one of the first names I see. So shout out to you for always being around, always supporting the team.
Yes, absolutely. Helena was saying, I was just telling her the Liberal put his foot in his mouth last night. But Fatima, trust me, if I see some of the Facebook, they're talking about engage or regular, she always tap. And many other people want to encourage people. Mr. Prince Double, the CEO of the Boilers Room. Good evening. Good to have you here this evening. So the Liberals, let's have a conversation. Why you in? You said go with my color of my hat to be in goal like two or what? Is it a competition you are in with running with me?
No. I just look in the closet and see which one can cover my big stomach. These are the one that could cut off my big stomach, and I just put them on.
Oh, I'm glad you know that your stomach is big. What are you doing?
No, I'm not hiding it.
I'm
not in the market anymore, Mr. So that's it. I got a lot of fans. You see that I'm loved on this show. So I'm not here to have competition. I know my position in the community. So I'm not here for competition. I'm just like President Bakar. Not here for any yo-yo business. I'm here to take care of business. So bring it on. Let's have a sweet and wonderful, thank you. Let's have a beautiful, beautiful conversation tonight, Mr. So.
Okay, as usual, for us, we are not going to be like you. We're going to always be of ourselves by allowing people to speak their mind as long as it is done with respect, with civility. They can disagree with us, which is okay. Unlike you, when people call, they want to speak, you say you artificially create an artificial Chinese phone, the phone battery dying, all of that, but yet and say Venetians and the advice of the other folks, they still say they were you. So it's a challenge. It is a serious problem that we have a lot to go to in fixing our country. Okay, gentlemen, all things considered, let's unveil our very packages in terms of tonight talking point. Let me start with the Liberals. Liberal, what are you hearing from your Liberal wing?
Well, as I stated last night, and Fatima just brought it up, they're trying to put the president, our father, the father of the nation, in a bubble, and he resisting. And that's most likely still happening, and we hope that they will not be successful. And they
are trying. They who?
Mr. So, the insider. The insider. Another thing I want to point out is that President Bakar and his people are not going to run Liberia business, the Republic of Liberia business on Facebook. These are intelligent people. These are credible people. Liberia is not a banana republic. So if people say everything that is happening and you read on Facebook or whatever front page Africa, what have you, and you want to deal with it and you think that is the truth, you've got another thing coming.
Oh boy! A lot of this tonight will be swarmed. This network will be swarmed by the Liberal wing on this network here. I'm not sure which way CC is going to go, but we're going to see how it looks like. Let me bring another Liberal patron, another Liberal recruit from Minnesota. Wow, this is, I don't know. I think I need to work overtime to get some.
Let me just tell you this: these are not liberals. These are people with strong views, aligned along with mine. Now, what you have to consider on the very
hold on. No. Wait, I am running the show. I am running
that. But let me just make this point. Well, let me just make this point, please. I just want to make this point.
Do you want to go in the back?
Go ahead, run your show.
Oh, you got your fans here. You look so dressed good. Do you want to go in the back?
Run your show.
Remember, I am running the show. Let me welcome Tara Collins. I'm not like you. I don't sanction people. Mr. Collins. Collins is a hard cake now because what you did to him, he told me he's not feeling happy about that. But you know, since you say you are big brother, he doesn't want to be public to come out public. So I understand where he come from. But Terry is unhappy, putting Jerry back on over Terry, who is one of the origins of this network. And somebody coming in yesterday, and you telling me, I sent him the recording that Jerry Bacon will be your co-host. Jerry will be
there. So you went to mission school? Well, I used to really maybe go for you.
Yeah, he grew up in Sino. He grew up in Sino.
I don't think I think you've been pressing already to the way I see it. Okay, Mr. Collins, good evening, welcome.
Yeah, man. So good evening to the panels. Sissy, seeing brother, I've not seen you for a while. Good evening. And the liberal. And to the chief himself. You know, the man is genius. The chief himself, the CEO. How are you, sir?
I'm the board chair. Just the CEO.
Okay, guys. All right, let's have the conversation. We accommodate other issues. Okay, labor carry on. Now I'm going to come to space it. The labor, you end your point already?
No, you want me to make my point?
Yes.
And the point that I was making is this. And on a very serious note, many of you conservatives are being isolated all over the world. All over the world. It's not because the liberals are taking control, but many of the folks that consider themselves independent, they are not in line with the way the conservative people think and do business. So you and your conservative group here on this platform are also being isolated. So you're just going to have to either join us and we allow you to have a little semblance of conservatism in you, we will allow that. But for you to think that you're conservative, and those of you who are also calling him independent conservative, and the central right, you think your view going to overtake this, it's not going to, I don't have to say anything. Sissy is a very independent, these are the people we call true independent. Because Sissy can take on me anytime. He can take on you anytime. If you're doing something that perhaps he see it is not in line with his view, he will speak up. That's what we're talking about.
Thank you. Your time is over.
Okay.
I know that
I can see where the show gonna go tonight.
We're talking about the issues affecting Liberia, and you want to to be the point of center point here. That's not what I want. Sister Goya, good evening. Welcome.
How you doing, man? So all things considered, if you see by the my byline there is I'm trying to refocus my energy and my thoughts. Is the academic change advocate. So we're trying to refocus on education, which is the biggest passion that we have. So some of the things I'm looking at, and we're trying to build some consensus around, and we try to get the power players in Liberia, both legislative and executive, is first around creating the safe zone around all of our schools, but particularly our pre-K to 6th grade schools, where we want to make sure that it is in law that at least a safe zone is created where alcohols are not sold around within a certain radius of kindergarten through 6th grade schools, and bars are not operated within those areas, and drugs are not sold within those areas. The next thing we're also trying to advocate right now, we started a little bit groundswell around that, is the idea of a creation and the introduction of a Liberian cultural history and appreciation class, because quite too often when we talk about Liberian culture, even when I was growing up in Liberia, we say we got culture. The only thing you hear is people be drunk, people dance. The people have reduced our culture to only dances. And I think that is unfair, and that is one of the reasons we don't understand who we are as a people. Our culture go way beyond dances. It includes the cuisines from the various areas, how those came about. It includes the stories that my grandfather used to tell me about their own ideas of creation and the afterlife. And it also includes folklores. And so we have to teach those in Liberian schools, and we have to make them graduation requirements. It's not just you go through where you pass, you go, no. And the idea is that we have the Ministry of Internal Affairs in conjunction with the National Traditional Council and the cultural, the Assistant Minister for Culture, along with the Education Ministry, to come together and create this curriculum. The other thing we're looking at is also trying to ensure that we have in law a three-year high school, 3-year civic course that becomes a graduation requirement. And because we're putting in a few graduation requirements that are different, we want to move away from WIAC to move back to national exam, where we'll be able to test on Liberian cultural appreciation and history, and be able to test on Liberian civics, so that we ensure that when we educate the next set of Liberian students that come out, that they are prepared, they are patriots, they understand what their roles and responsibilities are. So for me, I'm trying to refocus on the thing I love so much. And in the coming weeks, that's what I'm going to be talking about a lot, on how we can work with the legislature and the people on the ground in the executive to craft some of these laws and try to raise money to fund some of these ideas, so that we make sure that we put Liberia on a better trajectory.
So let me just do a little bit clearinghouse here, meaning you're going to diminish the political aspect of you that I know of, because you are pushing, but there's no way that the aspect of politics can be devolved, because politicians are the ultimate decision maker, policy pushing here. But what you are saying here, and I think that's the beauty of this network, it brings a lot of perspective into of our society. All of these things, it is what makes society comprehensive, making our schools environment safe. You can't have a high school here, then right behind you get one ghetto people there. Teachers there, by the time teacher get out of class, they have student or her. Those are very, very important things, and I think we have to shift some of these conversations to talking about good society. I think this is where we're supposed to start doing some stuff here. I want to come back to you. Let me go to this labor platform. I'm not sure which way you're going to go, but I want to take it easy with him. Charina is going to be the deal maker in this situation. Mr. Collins, good evening.
Yes, sir. You call me today?
I said I'm calling you.
Okay. I didn't. Maybe I work. I was checking.
But what are you calling you for?
I didn't get it.
But you know, in the other chat room, they make you there. He said you were calling you blacking.
Me?
I forget.
No, I think I other chat room, but I think I probably. I think I the real caucus chat room there.
No confusion. What are you talking about that other one? Okay, Mr. Collins, let's hear you. Sunset, what are you gathering from your end? What is so much Wednesday to Wednesday? That's a lot, even up to this point in time. What is on your docket? Okay, here come.
Oh, I hope it's not. I hope it's not the doctor.
Did you detect a voice?
Mr. Paul, listen.
I hope the doctor and I arrive.
Please, listen. Like you heard that, right? I'm not making it up.
I'm saying, Mr. Toll, I am running. Today is what? Wednesday.
Well, I thought when people get doctorate degree, they can rest small.
No, the other doctor is not big. Yeah, the other.
Okay, guys.
You're not gonna rest.
Do me a favor, as we are about to welcome tonight, this evening, his liberties that were seized, that were diminished, that were trampled over.
You bring Dr. Mane in. Let's move on with the show, Mr. So, please.
Give me a chance. I'm talking about people who respect, who allow people to speak their mind, even if they disagree with them, no matter in what form and context, and not telling those people, this is the language, this is the English I want you to speak. These are the voices that we need, people who will stand and fight for the voiceless. Dr. Mali Jones has championed this cause on this
And
network.
if you need to do the minute, internet will go off.
But
they finish the decision to that finish.
So, guys, I stood by his side. The liberal refused to come over. Instead, even though he was like literally 1 hour away, but he said, because we are not smoking his pipe, guys, let's welcome the independent man on this network. We are the two, and we will fight for the good of Liberia. Folks, here comes Dr. Jones Octavius Mali. Dad, good evening. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much for sending me the rescue train to take me back to the platform.
Yes.
And restoring all my lost freedom and, and thank you for taking me from the chain of bondage I suffered severely just a night ago. But anyway, my greeting to Collins, who is now at a crossroad, and we really want to welcome him, and we also want to welcome our academic change advocates, Honorable Goya. He's been away for some time now. No, he's an academic change advocate, and I think that's an appropriate topic right now, and I think title right now, and I think we want to welcome it. As you rightly said, Mr. Sisi, Mr. Goya, the doctorate degree is like taking load on your shoulder, off your shoulder. You need to rest for your shoulder for those joints to come back, But it seems to be my joint seems to be, I think, a bit older now, and they can't move. So that's why I'm still up running.
Or I get the flower, maybe you
I think I need to take some rest.
I don't think so, Dad, because taking a rest will put this network at risk in the hands.
Man, who said you want to take a rest day? You say you think so?
Stay out of it. Okay, Dad, good to have you. Mr. Collins, let's carry on with the conversation. Let's hear you. Wednesday, that's a lot. What's happening?
Yeah, so I was thinking that, from my review when I went to Liberia, I came to a conclusion that for any international investor, or let's say any international counterpart to take Liberia seriously, they have to see that we are able to move something. We are able to do something. And the first thing that they will have to see that we can do is, firstly, how we address cleaning our city. Because in my opinion, if international guests come to Liberia and see the city looking the way it is, a small city like Monrovia, in my thinking is that, will they take us serious looking at our city? Will they say, you know what? I think we can invest in this country with the full scale of investment requirements, or like what the concessions. I think one of the reasons why concessions agreement in Liberia is not adhered to properly is because investors do not take Liberians serious because of the way in which we structure ourselves. Going into the city and seeing feces in the city, running down, international guests coming, all that. I really don't think they will take us seriously. So these few days, to be honest with you, I felt jealous when I saw one of these guys, president. I don't know if that the Kenyan president or somewhere with what's his name, Joe Biden, giving a huge welcome into the United States, walking on red carpet, enjoying the atmosphere of the presidential escort of the United States. I felt very jealous Because I think, in my opinion, Liberia we should be taking that lead in Africa. We should be the one taking that lead. So when I saw the push with Joe Biden parading with this dude all over the place, to be honest with you, I felt jealous. Because I think that by now, my president, JMB, that I support and I will continue to support, should be in the driver's seat right now, making sure that he's giving those kind of welcomes and he's moving, on a very high scale. But and I draw the conclusion that one of the reasons why they don't take us serious is because, first of all, we don't approach ourselves seriously. Because if you go to the city, moreover, and you see all that kind of dirt, international guests coming, how do they feel? How would they say, you know what? These people, at least they are trying to make effort for themselves. So in my opinion, my recommendation for this government will be that they can put into place stringent laws for just the city of Monrovia, instructing that anybody who throw dirt in the street should be arrested, because there's a possibility that the day you eat something, you buy something from the sidewalk, and you unravel it, you can put it there in your pocket or you put it in a car. But Liberians can throw the dirt in the street. And I don't know what the city mayor is doing about that, but there is no law that restrains them from doing that. Liberians can pee in the street. In the center of Monrovia, they go in certain wall and they just urinate on the walls and stuff like that. There have been no law put into place where maybe you find a person or you put a person in jail for 72 hours and all of that. So I think those things need to be, in as much as we don't have the full requirements to clean our city, we need to put into place some stringent laws that will stop people from casting dirt in the street. All right?
Okay.
At least that will reduce those things that when international guests come, at least they will say, at least these people, yeah, we understand it from war and things, but at least they're doing something for themselves. At least. That's just my candid opinion. That's what on my mind right now.
That's on my mind right now. Let's go to the voice that represents the true meaning of what is on the mind, the liberal Tabata and all of these people here. Dr. Marley Jones. First of all, let me ask you, you listen to the liberal, you listen to his, we got to take it easy with Terry. Terry now is going to be the one to cut the deal here, but I'm not going to that much. But let's, today is Wednesday. What is alignment, what is so concerning when it comes to your country, whatever form or shape that you think requires some sort of a conversation that we should have this evening?
First of all, I want to welcome the Liberal, Mr. Collins, Mr. Goya, and I think of lessons. I think we need to encourage Collins to keep visiting Liberia, because by the time he comes there, he brings some spectacular, wonderful thing that even the doctor, he said, learn from it.
Yeah, go ahead, Dai.
Hello?
Go ahead. Somebody sending message. Go ahead.
So it's like, I really want to appreciate Collins' analysis and everything he says, his own perception about Europe since he went there. They are all true. I experienced those things. Even the issue of the trash he just bring it up. I think it makes a whole lot of sense, a whole lot of big sense. I'm telling you, because it's something that sometimes I wonder what the city corporation have an ordinance. If so, they have city police. If so, why is it that it's like the rescue team to tell all that they're going to do something differently? You see, so the last hour they said the mayor sweeping telling the market women all move, we're sweeping the play with. That is not the solution. I keep saying that each of the departments, section, and corporation in Liberia now, they need to come up they need to come up with a comprehensive plan of action. They're going to help His Excellency government, each of them, you see. So the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, he's supposed to be engaging this thing and informing the puppet and getting all these people back and and what have you. So the last time they even had a retreat. That one of the good places where you go to discuss some of the good ideas, you see. So probably we'll go into the trash issue, but what Mr. Collins is saying tonight, it make a whole lot of big sense, and I want to appreciate him for that. But what is on my plate tonight is the 9-member delegation that Joseph Baka brought to America on the business trip from May 6 to 9. And the question that baffled me tonight is, did you come back home with empty hands? Thank you.
Okay. Did you come back home with empty hand? All your hands are full, or we still have those 12-foot or whatever big containers still at the port? Let's welcome the man from the far life, Atlanta, Georgia. ANC Daha. Thank God he parted in win, because you're going to be Commissioner Sarala. People will be showing your identity before I go grand it. But that did not happen. Mr. Amos George, the legendary himself. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So, Dr. Mali, Terry, Professor Sisi. Is there something to over there?
Oh yeah, the guy behind you.
Yeah.
Who you call again? That's the guy. He been on you.
Yeah.
You say you run away from him.
Something to how you doing?
Yeah, we ask that question by him.
That's something to the man say now that only Jerry Barker and Terry will be on his program, so you know.
I don't think so. The man always sending me a line, so I don't know where you're coming from. You're not teaching police.
Oh, I tell you a good man. You is there, you're not correct. I see why I wanted to loot vote for you to win election.
But John, now when you defeat her.
We just thinking about that guy, you know. Ain't no in the guy will take your hair, put it in the other man and say the man get a hair, go get it.
Okay, good evening, Mr. George. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I guess you're following, the traditions. It's Wednesday. All things considered, you listen to the Liberal Tabata, Dr. Mali, put it into context, give the flower that due to Terry. Terry would have done that. The Liberal would never easily do that. But the Mali always represents the voices of all, no matter what it is, even Venetians, Malva, all of that, but Mali to represent their interest. But let me just come to you, Wednesday to Wednesday, a lot of hoopla been ongoing here. So what is a waste of time that we in the media industry, we kept talking about? Let's hear you.
Since I touched on something already, education. What is happening in Liberia now? This is an educator. I think we need to rethink why the masses of students just failing. A lot of IC professors, students, they teach us what's happening, because we cannot just continue to shift the blame on the students. Because any good teacher would be concerned about his or her student failing. So what are the methodologies they're using that is not achieving anything? And so, and since we spoke about culture, I've been following, it's wonderful. Because this thing, culture is not that they go putting their forward one another, they shaking their body. That's not the culture. That's just one little aspect of it. Okay? There's something lacking in our society today. Because the culture is a form of education. When people are taught, they teach them, they learn it. behavior, all the folk stories have meaning while we were told. Because these things are lacking today in our society. I see today leaders in Liberia, men are very, very weak. They get intimidated by women very easily. And that is concerning our leaders. But I will be diving into it later on. I will call some people names tonight again.
Oh.
And the next thing is the encroachment on government property in Liberia. I think this government now should take a stand against people who are encroaching on government property in Liberia. It's just wrong. Public property, you can't just go and build on it. It's just wrong. And this thing, we have to put a stop to it. I saw the video from Ralphie. Look how the people are encroaching on the land. The government's supposed to fence that land. Other government institutions, people build on manhole. People build on manhole. They tell you, say, that's my land. How can you build on manhole? You say that's your land. Look at the Roman field. Where Barrow used to play. That's where we used to go play football. You go there, people have built houses on Roman field land, and the fence, they seen the boundary, the fence, the old fence is there, but they crossed all and went into the property and built. So
okay, let's get into
we have to do about it.
Let's get into the details. Guys, welcome. Let's unleash the Ibera packages and see what we can get from our guys. But let me start with you. You inserted something into this conversation, shifting the entire conversation this evening, which of course is it worth shifting here. But I will also ask you what actually is going to involve national government to get that achieved, because you're going to have a resistance with the society, and the very society, even though we are calling for good school systems, good environment, in the process of government at times to execute these high decision making, carry out the hard decisions mandate. Other people think is infringement. Other people think government is using excessive force, but we are not taking into consideration the harm is also causing toward the very government, society, and its people. The school, that's something that really I want to gain. Now, why is it so important?
Well, thank you. Before I get to that, I wanted to say something so I don't forget real quick on Terry's point. I think Terry raised a very salient point, but one thing I want my brother to recognize also is that one of the major reasons why Kenya was elevated these few days at the White House is because the Kenyans have agreed to lead the UN peacekeeping troop to Haiti. And so that is one of the major reasons why the U.S. is hailing them right now. But you are right, on a greater extent, that Liberia should be fighting to maintain that relationship that we have from back in the day. So you're right there, but I just want to lay a little foundation on that. Now, having said that, to your question, Mr. So, Terry hit a point, and everybody else talked about the dirtiness of the city. Well, the city can be dirty and school campuses be clean, right? Because the school campuses are in the city. What we focus on in academia when you're doing school change, or you're doing transformation of schools, is you focus on teacher qualification and teacher training, right? That's one piece of it. But you can have all of the trained teachers and all the qualified teachers. If you don't have the right curriculum, it still sucks. So you have to have that in tandem with the curriculum and the pedagogy. And pedagogy is the way you teach, right? The way we teach. We're not doing standing in line no more and say 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4, then teacher paper knocking you forward, writing like that to intimidate you as he may say whip you. We're not doing that no more. We're not doing road memory. So we change. So you have to have that to go in tandem with that. But the biggest piece that we always forget is the climate of the school. The school has to feel, smell, look like a learning institution. It has to encourage learning. If you walk into a building and it's all in ruins and it's raining and it's leaking and the ceilings are all molded out, it doesn't encourage free academic exchange. It doesn't encourage critical thinking. And so for me, the issue of the cleanliness of the city, I tie it into the climate of the school. And that's the reason I'm saying that you pass laws. And you ask a critical question, Mr. So. Liberia is not a fully mature democracy yet. We've been trying this thing for many years. We're not yet mature. So we cannot run Liberia like a mature democracy like the United States. And so if you need to pass laws that are going to change the people's life, or if you want the people to come along with that law, you have to give them a buy-in. You have to sell it to them. You don't just go and pass the law and walk away. That's the reason we have so many laws on the books and they are never implemented, right? Because we never brought the people along. We never did education around it. Mr. So, I guarantee you, there is not one person in Liberia that if you explain to them that you don't want their kids kindergarten through 6th grade to pass through ghettos to go get their recess, to be sitting in their classroom and listening to music from the nightclubs or from the bars that are like maybe 3 feet away.
Hold me tight.
Right. No parent will tell you, say, that doesn't make sense. But you have to bring the people along. And that's the reason when you ask the question, when I'm going to leave politics. No, I'm not going to leave politics. I think it's even because of politics that we're going to be able to move these things. I here in Minnesota, I've been to the state capitol. I've testified so many times at the state capitol here on education. And I have advocated for, I've raised money for school board leaders. I've campaigned for representatives that told me that they will go and fight for educational reform. And I'm doing that right now still. The next election is coming up. I'm going to be campaigning for senators and legislators in Minnesota that have told me how they're going to support education. And so we're going to do the same thing in Liberia. We're going to reach out to representatives. We're going to reach out to senators. We are going to craft, if necessary, the language of the bill. And we're going to go to these people and explain to them how it benefits Liberia and Liberian schools. And those people that refuse to sign on, we'll make it in public. So the people are aware that during the next election, these are the people that voted against the interests of their children. And if their children are now going to schools in Liberia and they vote against it, we'll let the people know. Look, go out the days where we just sit on the sidelines and allow people to do their thing and we put our hand between our legs and say, this is the people's thing. I am going to maybe not be as harsh on as I used to be before when it comes to other things, because I need certain things passed. I need the laws passed that create a safe zone around kindergarten through 6th grade schools. So I know there are some people I have to be a little bit soft on to ensure that they vote for that. I need a bill passed that will ensure that our cultural heritage, our cultural appreciation is a graduation requirement. And when I talk about cultural heritage, I'm talking about we are then going to be able to quote the people of the likes of Madame Swakoko. Instead of quoting Aristotle, you will quote Swakoko. Instead of quoting Plato, you will quote Lango Lepe. You will quote traditional Liberians who have led and done critical thinking. And so those are some of the things for me I'm going to be pushing, because I think we have to, if we are going to change Liberia, we can't just be making the mud and sit down. We have to get in the mud. We have to do the work. And if it means, like I said, for us to craft the language for some of these bills, we will craft the language of those bills and we will take them to people. And we'll look, they are very good representatives, legislators in Liberia that want to see these changes. I think sometimes they just need people to help them explain how it benefits the people. And I think that's where some of us going to come through. That's what we want to do. We're going to be able to explain to our people how to benefit our brethren and sisters back home.
So the politics aspect, and I'm going to bring in other folks. We're going to tip into that, and then we kind of roll it out to the other people here. So let me bring in the Liberal. The Liberal, he's one of those with this sort of appealing tone and always in his own world, in his own little way. I'm not sure whether he's going to be in line here. But the Liberals, if you look at and follow the history of our politicians, it's a difficult one in terms of decision making. More or less, they are drawn into their party, being more partisan than representing the interest of the constituent, which it is their primary, because those are the people that elected them, even though you can be on your party, but it is the people that send you out there to represent their interest, to advocate for them, for fight for them, to do things for them. And clear evidence of that, we saw the late Senator John McCain, when he was literally dying, 11 went on Capitol Hill, and he did this further times down here because he was representing his people. He felt, in as much he was a Republican, but he said, "No, this is what good for my people." Now, the question now becomes, our lawmakers, not all of them, to be fair, but more or less they are partisans, they are sectionalists, they are tribalists, because this man from my county, oh hell no. Even when he needs to be called out, they will not do it. They will restructure it, they will remake the case, and they will do it any kind of way and it will let go. Now, these changes want modern Liberia. It comes with ultimate sacrifices that people got to take the bull by the horn. It's not just only the executive. And Terry inserted something here. Quickly before I bring it to you, last week we went on a rally in the city of Boston, caring force, whatever rally. First time entering the state house in Massachusetts. Man, you enter their building. Oh my goodness, you see your own shadow. People sign petitions. They tell you, say, go find your district or go find your whatever person office. You hit, you know which office, the door, the room number to go to. Even if that lawmaker is not there, the staffers, they are there to receive that. The reception itself. You go to Capitol buildings, how can we clean? And this is where the $1 million question is. I went there multiple times, visited some senators, representatives. When you finish doing my message, what you want to call, you got to take bucket and dump it in there. Yet still, these people riding 40 some, 50 some more $1,000 cars. They bring in foreign diplomats. I don't know whether they can't rush in their bathroom or is, and some of them you enter, it's just uncomfortable. To be honest, because I remember the days, John G. Ramsey, even the PRC when they were there, when you enter that Capitol building from top to toe, red the carpet alone. And these people from the hailing and whatever, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this day. African blood is just a complete mess. If they can't be first branch of government, if they can't face inside their own living place, how can they allocate resources to make the city clean? Or are we just going to be talking and talking, talking? City leader can talk and talk and talk, but if the resources are not allocated to affect those changes, to carry out those changes, to clean those drainages, to make sure, like Terry said, people do things and they just walk away. You throw it there, they call you, you pay a fine, and you pay the price. And this happens so easily.
Well, it's a mouthful for me, but thank you for the opportunity as well. But on a very serious note, Mr. So, Terry, and everyone has been stating in it correct in that respect, in that I believe that many of us as Liberians do not think about the future. We are geared towards instant gratification, I believe. I could be wrong. Mr. So, you just spoke about the Capitol building. And quite recently, they're giving each representative about $100,000 for a project. Why can't they even use that $100,000 each to have a project in the Capitol building and fix those things? Why can't they not do that? But that's here and there, Mr. So. Look, I said yesterday, and I'm very serious, the opportunity for us to fix Liberia is now. If we don't utilize this opportunity, and people might disagree with me, if we don't utilize this opportunity at this time, I feel if it get away from us, it's going to be difficult to get in the same position again. Why am I saying this? I know the president of the Republic of Liberia is an older person. And I believe in my heart, he's not here to look for a woman. He's not here to look for shoes. He's not, Mr. So please, if you don't mind. He's not here to look for clothes to wear. His only purpose, why God sent him in this position, I believe, is to help to straighten things up for Liberians to have the opportunity to help themselves. He will not be able to do all by himself. We know that. I'll give you an example. The like of Mo Ali, the young man who has been under the wing of the president for almost 2-3 years now. All that time, the only flammable more Ali had was that girlfriend business, which we all have gone through. Nobody is
no, I'm not going through that.
Okay, you're not besides you. So please let me make my point. I beg you, when you are talking,
why are you going to indict everybody into
I'm
your
not in it for confusion tonight. You please let me talk. You don't want me to talk. You let me know. Let me pack my thoughts. Because I don't want confusion tonight. I'm very serious on these things. So, but when he became a man of his own, look at the view of that water situation. Bringing the water in for people to drink, which is good. People say he was not truthful. I don't even want to talk about that. My main thing is this opening pump business in most of Rado County is in Monrovia. And you have Senator Dillon caught in Rivian, whereas Senator what's his name? Sir Joseph is not there. I don't know what happened, but if you're going to bring Senator Dillon to represent, to do things in most of Rado County, you have to bring in opposition, whatever it is. And here's another thing, Mr. So.
I disabuse you on
Mr. So, please.
You're coming back with A again tonight.
Okay, please. I'm not
another stubborn.
Can I make my statement, please? Okay, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Now, you have the Secretary General of Unity Party. He has a position in the government. Excuse me. You have the chairman of Unity Party.
Oh, you ever had to listen to me now? Yeah, I told you from the beginning. You're telling me I'm gonna shut up.
How are these people going to, who interests are they seeking? Are they going to be ready to work with the opposition? And if they do that, with the party seeing themselves, say, why are you working with opposition? These are the kinds of stuff. Mr. So, one last thing. I sent you a video. In your messenger. It's a video of road construction.
When you send that today?
I just sent it a few minutes ago, but I'm just gonna. If you can't play it, that's fine. I'll just describe it a little bit. They're using dozer to grade ditch line on the side of the road. Now, that particular process is happening on Lofa Road. On Grand Gita and the southeastern road, they just use grader and push the dirt. They have a ditch, no ditch line. So as it rains, the water is going to be right back in the street. In fact, I got some picture. You have some shear already of the dirt. They're splitting. It's starting the process of being stuck. It's starting already. Whereas Lofa Road, and I'm not saying because it's Lofa Road, but they are creating a ditch for the water to channel the water, to take the water from the street and put it in the ditch, which is what they're supposed to do. But look at the equipment they're using. You can use grader, you can use dozer to create a ditch for water, but not on a major highway like that. That's what the grader is supposed to do. But I will talk more on that, Mr. So. But I think overall, we're not going to go anywhere right now. We're going to be in it for a while.
Oh, so hold on. So the train gonna stop or halfway? Is that what you saying?
Excuse me?
Are you saying the train gonna leave us in court? We're not going to go, and it's not my word. Those are your words,
Mr. So. The rescue train, a flux CDC. Let me just piss you up right now. Let me make you vex more. The rescue train have flux CDC, and there's nothing you can do. I tried to be fair and to be friend with you here tonight, but now you're going to bring it on. I'm going to give it to you. The rescue train is going to survive because we have taken care of the people that are unable to work. The CDC, they are on the west side. We're talking real governing system. So there's nothing here you guys have on me, the liberal. And this rescue train, the rescue train, there's nothing coming off. They're doing good. They are ready to leave. And you guys can stand by. Either you come and praise the president of the Republic of Liberia, or you say nothing.
Okay. I think at this point, completely, you are more than John Kerry with a swift boat, or maybe Remy now with this whole thing here. I didn't put finger in your throat. You said we are not going nowhere. And I just wanted you to repeat to be yourself. But again, you have shown to your supporters how unstable, unrealistic, unreliable you are. You flip it. We're not talking about CDC. Amos George, Mr. Dr. Jones, the independent guy, he ran away. So you see your own shadow. he go and take a drink. Amos George.
Yeah.
If you listen to the liberal, when he's saying these kind of things that he's saying, and he's unable to answer simple question, just quoting from his own word, but then come back to just flip the table, and how can this guy, I don't want to make it a show, but let me just get your view on some of these things that they have said.
Oh, look. Honorable Boakai, he has a whole lot on his plate. I think they need to double up. And this excuse people always make about leader, the people around the leader, the people around the leader. For me, it's just a lazy argument people continue to make. They say they're singing something to it, they sing about George, the people around George, we are. Boakai and the people around Boakai. He is the person, if anything goes wrong, he is responsible. So when people make any kind of argument for me, I just tend to say where they want to go, where they want to take this country. Is it continue to make excuses for people? You are being put in a position, you are in charge of the government, and we expect you to lead. And one thing I will agree with him, Honorable Boakai got nothing to lose. I mean, if God gave him long life, he can retire. He will not run for the next term. So I expect him to lay some foundation that will change Liberia. Because he's not worrying for the next election. So I expect him to put some institution in place, policy that will move the country forward, so that when the next group of people come, they can't say, oh, they want to start all over again. They can build upon that. But it's a serious problem in the country. And Cecil said something again. This is very important, this educational business in Liberia. I agree with him. Some of the people now, we can't go high on them because they say, oh, and you don't want your last name, you're talking about me, then you come to me now. But it's very serious. Don't mean that we'll not go after them, but we'll say the right thing, the truth about them. So the day you question against this, yeah, I said about well, based on this thing here. But it is a serious thing in the country. Look at the Western region. Do you know there was a Mandingo chief that negotiated the treaty between Guinea and Liberia at that time? Was I think Sabozan was his nephew or something, but you don't hear none of those people name. That Western Rada was a major corridor for trading, but you don't hear none of the people name in Liberian history. I mean, there's not this way about the people. People in Moreover, if you ask them, do you know the meaning of the town? Why they call this town? They will tell you they didn't know. They know. Historical places, when you ask them why you think they people call, they will tell you they didn't know. And we say you are Liberian and someone asking you, or the region you come from, someone asking you, say you know. If you ask some people, there was a plane crash in Sanaya district in Bon County. If you ask some people, they don't know. That in 1950 or something. When they people tell you these stories, people don't know all these things. What's happening? How the people got saved in that area? They don't know. People hear Swakoko. You ask them who was Swakoko, they will not tell you. Lango Lepe, you ask some people, they will not tell you. There are other chiefs around Liberia. In Grand Crew, all the people who stood up, the chief. You ask these people, they will not tell you. What are you talking about? But we want to study about American history. That is what we want to. We should be craving to learn. But your whole life, you don't know anything about it. It is sad. And let me just close on this note.
Okay.
And let me say this. You know, this Kenya thing, I saw people running with it. But as sister said, this thing has been in the works for a long time. Even the Republicans were holding $40 million that Biden, they have promised Kenya that if Kenya led that troop into Haiti, they're going to get them $40 million. But it was the Republicans who were holding this money up. They didn't want to pass that budget for Kenya to get that money. So when this budget was passed, Kenya government, Kenya will be leading about 1,000 men into Haiti with the other island countries to contribute. And President Biden made it very clear that the reason they invited him to come to the White House, it was because of that deed that he has signed. So people want to compare like, no. And so many people don't understand the China hat that doesn't work. People don't just get out of the call, State Department call the White House, the president of Liberia want to see you. No. You got to go through something. You got lobbyists. Government got to pay those people to lobby with the White House to grant access to that president of that country. So it's not getting that people just pick up phone and call the State Department, calls the State Department, the president coming. No. So many things have to be work. It takes so many years to work on it. So I just want to make some more people to understand the protocols involved in this thing.
Okay. Terry?
Yeah, actually, those are good points you're raising, and all of that. Yeah, President Boyka needs to double up. I think the schooling system that Sissy said need a reform, and we all know that. I totally agree that our history need to be added to the Liberian school system, because when I was in school, I remember we were talking about the settlers' history, John Kizet, all the kind of thing. So we don't really have information on King Alboso. I hail from a descendant of King Alboso. I think one of his sons called from the lineage of Jacob Faye, the guy that the owner of Logan Town, the owner of the whole entire bourgeois island is King Alboso. One of the guys they called Jacob Faye, and he had two sons, and one of his sons, my descendant, come from that lineage. So the whole entire Logan Town was given to my late great grandmother, and the reason why it became Logan Town is because a guy called Logan was the one who was carrying the paper around and giving land to people, because the paper would say, "Oh, yeah, paper." The other person said they wanted land. So Papa would say, well, do something for me. Do something for him. He just point a finger up, Mr. Logan Chunk the Rock. That's why it became Logan Town. But Logan Town is named after, yeah. So there are a lot of history. I agree with him that needs to be embedded into our history so Liberians can know the other side of the indigenous story, because we don't have that. It's not part of our history. The culture of the indigenous, and we also know how Mandingo people were the first people to find the land, all the kind of thing. So most of those things are not available, which I think need to be, including the war, the story of the Liberian Civil War, all need to be upgraded into our system. That would be a very clever thing. However, on the issue too of President Boyka and all the kind of thing, to be honest with you, I am very, very skeptical that the United States even recognize us in the foreign policy, because it's been a while since even an American president visited Liberia. So I have a couple of questions, to be honest with you. And the question I have here is that, do we fit in the American foreign policy anymore? That is number one. Because you see, Joe Biden's schedule is already booked for the year. So there are people already in line that Joe Biden is to meet this year, probably from Africa and all of that. You have to book previously ahead of time. And there are people that I believe Joe Biden made arrangement for them to come in, like the Kenya president. You know what I'm saying? Because the interest lie. And not only that, because I agree that troop thing was there, but also they see the need to engage African leaders because China and Russia is pressing in. China and Russia pressing in. That is why. But the problem I have is that, why is Liberia not on the docket? So one of my other concerns has to do with, is it because of the sanctions imposed upon our people, our country. That is what has made Liberia ugly in the Western world. Is the sanction really affecting us?
Those sanctions, like the embargo during the heat of the war, that was a problem. But these sanctions are being imposed more or less, they are restricted
No, I mean,
individuals.
Yeah, sanctions on individuals to don't it have, because, for example, now if you are not credible enough, if your government officials are not credible enough, especially the legislature, wherein concessions can pass, what kind of investors will be attracted to your country? So is the sanction having impact? And all of that. So these are things that I have concern and all of that on. So I'm just concerned if we still fit, like the way America used to be behind Liberia. Do we still fit in the American foreign policy, or only on human rights and all those kind of things that we're looking at? Because to be honest with you, I do not even know. I know you talk about lobbyists trying to lobby and all of that, but was that the case with Liberia and America before? Has it been a normal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
okay.
those are my concerns. Anyway,
those are your concerns. Now, all of you have said it. The guy who is about to settle the dust after the Liberal Tabata, and he decided to go get a drink, that he can't start drinking whatever he is Dr. Malik Jones. He was reserved purposely to put the Liberal in check. Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
So
thank you, CEO.
Let's get it. Let's get the independent versions of this.
Yeah,
These all of these people. This guy is an ANC man. Terry is a Boishin. Liberal is a Boishin. Well, Sissy Goyo, Bronchian or whatever. Yeah. So let's get to you, Dr. Jones.
The only man who my political leader is still available, you can still see him. Send out upon the political leader, but for you can't see him no more. So don't put your name on me. Don't put your name on me. But my political leader stay available, you can see him.
I want to thank you, CEO, for restoring my freedom tonight.
Yes.
And I also want to.
How many times they will restore them one thing?
Well, problem.
Ever say you key?
You like
the man still recovering.
We gain redemption.
Because,
so
the man still recovering.
I think Colin had just put it right. I was hit and I still recovering, so I gotta still remember the pain. I still remember the presence of Mr. Bacon, but he absent tonight. That helped to reduce some of the pain as well. Anyway, on a very serious note, I'm not too happy about the $43 million that is being set aside, given to Kenya to put boots on the ground just to kill her own people. The issue of neo-colonialism is resurfacing again. Why America is not putting her own boots on the ground? Well, we will come to that. But let's go back to our home issue, the education system just brought in. And it's a very good point. But I have a few questions here. One, how many Liberian politicians really believe that we have there's problem in our educational system? That's the first thing. How many of them? Two, are politicians in denial of the problem in Liberia in the educational system? Are Liberians themselves just okay with the type of system that is there right now? Then the next thing is, are the politicians actually using education now as a business, politicizing it for their own benefit? Those are the questions now I'm asking. Then lastly, it is alleged Liberia alleged educational problem may include corruption, fraud, cheating, lack of qualified teachers, lack of teacher training, extortion of money from students, sex, white has to be reformed, teacher being underpaid. These are all allegations that we have not proven yet. So to elevate the conversation since I just introduced, I think one of the best things that happened the last time, the educational minister was traveling around to hear what the people got to say. Okay? That was a good thing, but it's not enough. A study has to be conducted with the educational name to find out, thank you, my sister, to find out exactly what is the problem. Then when we identify the problem, then we will now move to see whether we even need this type of educational system, whether we need to change it. Then the next thing now is, where do we get the money from? You see? But it been a long time now from one government to another government, from one government to another government, from one educational minister to another educational minister. Sese, probably, and myself, we are just two persons. He succeeded to fight the MCSS junta. I don't know whether he's going to succeed to fight, because the other area is a vast area. He will need more gloves to put on his hand to really fight in the other area, because they got too many corrupt giants sitting down in the educational sector. You see, as compared to the MCSS, you have just one giant there. He forced him to appear here. The next day, they sack him.
Please, don't go there. Don't go there. I beg you. Please.
I think the man resigned. The man on the 10th position.
Please, don't go there.
Okay, if they didn't remove him, I'm very sure he's being harmed by Sese, because Sese was very persistent and consistent on our case. Yes.
Okay.
So there are a lot of allegations surrounding the whole educational system. We need to carry on a comprehensive study to really come out with what is in there and how can we fix it. Liberal, this is not your show. You want to hate me again?
He's not gonna get through. I guarantee you that. He will not.
After you finish taking all the shots at everybody, including Professor Say, like what you come back.
Okay, so what I sense out in this thing, and hopefully we can get an intake. Maybe we're going to step a little bit time over here. It seems to me we all speaking the same language in different forms here. It appears that Stacey, because you brought in this thing, and I think we have to expand on it, and maybe we can reach out to the authorities to see if they can come here to have this sort of conversation, because and see what is the hitch up coming from there. Is there certain sectors of the government, whether the first branch or the executive, are they now also providing the sort of support system that they need to kind of like upgrade, to bring to standard? And it seems to me, all of us here talking that we need to go back to our roots. We need to know of our own culture. We need to know more about our own country before we even go know about Cote d'Ivoire. If you can't know about your own boundaries, you can't know about your own terrain, how effectively that you can even know your country. And I got to know that from this guy book here, which of course we have read, Liberty Hijack. This is a masterpiece. When you read this book, it's still on Amazon, and I think it's approved for waiting to see why it is, because this book talks too much things that we do not know. Plenty things. Go into this book here and see whether that open door policies the liberal frame brought in, whether it was an open door or it was a closed door. You will get an in-depth of it. If we can get to know more about ourselves, I think we will restore our human dignity. We'll know how to argue, make point, not a sort of business argument. But there's a version of it as well. There are people who are supposed to support these people, and that's why when terrorists are letting us say, when the people in Capitol building, they can't clean their own building, how can they? They will just sit before the camera and I like Oh, the city mayor not working. They don't want to make it. The city mayor don't want to use his hand to go in the drainage to go clean things. No. You make things available. This country, you have the national, you have local, they have, I mean, these, and then federal come in to make these budgets. Money is in that country. Like the liberal said, look at that kind of money these people are giving among they're rationing among themselves. We saw that again in the heat of COVID when people were in desperation, needed to get help. What did they do? They bailed themselves out. They did. So now Boyka is here, but there are some few folks we are talking to. I think they know that most likely the old man will not go back. So people still want to cut through the corridor as usual, but they are finding it difficult. We'll wait and see.
CEO, can I make one point of correction here? We keep saying the old man will not go back. I doubt it seriously. The old man have told us certain things they have not been fulfilled completely yet. So we have to wait and see.
But give him chance.
It's possible for the old man to go back. Thank you.
You are not in charge. He's speaking his mind, please. You are not in charge.
Independent mind. That are independent mind.
Of course.
What's nothing to say that, man?
Yeah. Why would people call him? Is he your president? You never even voted in like, bro. You are a breakaway Liberty Party that destroy your party and you're seeking political refuge. You want to come here and tell people not to talk about the president? Give me a break. Okay, we're going to be opening the lines as well here, but this part here. But how much to attain that sort of this thing that you put down here tonight? To fight that, it got to come with strength. It got to come with resources. You got to move people. Or are we just talking about Monrovia? Or is it going to be a simultaneous or a systematic step by step? Because we can't just fix the educational schools environment in Monrovia and you leave Buchanan or you leave Sano or you leave Nima or you leave Kima or you leave Lofa or no. It has to kind of correlate to make sure that it's well together. How much will it cost to get those things, to get such a sort of massive, that would be a massive reform, educational reform?
Well, the problem is that, see, that's why I got some things that are going to be laws and some things that are policies, right? So when you pass some of these laws, we're talking about the safe zone laws or the law requiring mandating a Liberian history appreciation. And when I talk about Liberian culture and history appreciation, I'm talking about where you go to hear the likes of Murray Dolly, right? We talk about Murray Dolly, those folk singers and stuff. You will hear them and they talk about them. So those kind of pieces. So those are laws that got to be passed, right? So that's an easier lift. And what we hope to do is, like right now, I'm talking to some educators, Liberian educators in the diaspora. We're hoping to reorganize the Liberian Educators Association in the diaspora. So we're going to put myself as a think tank for that piece, right? And then on the ground, we're going to be talking to teachers, and they're going to be telling us what the problems are that they're seeing, right? Because you cannot create a solution if the people who got a soul are not at the table to tell you how to sew head in it. Right. And so we're hoping to bring students' voices also, for the students to tell us what are the things they're not seeing, and we're hoping to bring in the voices of the community. There are schools in communities, and these people don't even think the school belongs to them. Somebody was sitting there and last night, the vendor last time on the 11th Street without doing anything. What do we need to do to make sure that these people understand that this is a part of their community, that it belongs to them, that it's not the fortress of an invading force, right? And so those are some of the work we're doing here in Minneapolis, for example. You have to make sure that people take ownership of their schools, that they feel like they're in partnership. So that when you're proposing these changes, you will have the support of the students, you have the support of the educators, you have the support of the caregivers and the communities. You have that groundswell of support. Now you go to the legislature and say, here is what we got for you, and it becomes an easy sell. So on the legislative part, the passing the law part, that is their piece. Now there are certain things that we hope to pilot, and you can't do a piloting all through the country. But if you try something in Moserado and it works, chances are you can replicate it in other places. Or if you try something in Kaweke and it works, Maybe you can replicate that in Zozo, right? So you find places that you pilot, you know, and you try these things. It's almost like the LRC, and anyone you remember the Liberian Rural Communication Network thing? Radio Zozo, Radio Banga, I think. Those were projects. They were testing to see how that was going to work. Unfortunately, though, did not live to see the end of it. But those were piloting to see how it works out. Okay, so those are the things we are hoping to do. You first have to sell to the people. You first have to have a buy-in from the people. And I saw, you know, my brother Dr. Toto said, where can we go to find those writings by those Liberian scholars? One of the things you have right there is Kaiwule. It's right there. But beyond that, for example, we can start somewhere. We can start by stopping this craziness that we do in Liberia, what we teach discoverers. But we start teaching Mingo Park, discover somewhere called the river Niger. You think the people on that river didn't know that it was a river?
No,
that these Portuguese that came down to exploit our people discover us. So that's the first place you got to first start by stopping what Dr. Mali said, that neo-colonial mindset. It's like Liberia was not colonized, but our minds were colonized. And so that's the first thing we have to do. We have to undo that.
I see why you wear that shirt.
We have to stop teaching some of those things. For example, and I will learn real quick. For example, what does it take to go to Yela? Yela is in Zozo.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever learned about the Chinese, the Great War of China, it was a similar thing the Lama warriors did in Yela. They built a wall to stop the invading forces, the invading British forces from encroaching on Liberian land. Mind you, by the time Lofa Kante was not even part of Liberia, was not considered part of Liberia technically. The war is still there. Lama warriors rode on horseback and they would shoot the arrows, the bow and arrows over the walls to prevent the white French with their Guinean soldiers from crossing into Lofa. The war stayed there. But people will go to school in Zozo and don't know about that war. People will go to school and graduate in Lofa Country and don't know about the war. There are people who go to school called Lango Lepe. They know nothing about Lango Lepe.
No, they don't know.
There are people who go to school in Swakoko and cannot tell you anything about Madame Swakoko. So for me, is where do we start? You can start slow. Let's start talking about Baltimore. Let's start taking field trips to his grave and to other places. Start taking Liberian school students to those places. That's how you build tourism. Because as the Liberian students go to the Great War in Yela and write about it, other people will know about it. When white people come, they might want to go visit that war. But we don't talk about it. We don't teach about it. So for
let me go to Terry. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Goya. Let me go to Evis quickly here, and I'll go back. Evis, let's hear from you quickly. Evis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mr. So. Are you getting me?
Yeah, thank you for holding on. Let's hear you quickly.
All right, thank you, and hello to the panelists. I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to touch on that Kenya thing because it's deeper. I think Mr. Goya and Mr. Empire George touched on it, but I don't know if you guys remember, like maybe 8 years ago, there was always this case of terrorism in Kenya. People went to school, went to a mall in Mombasa, killed a lot of people in the mall. So Al-Shabaab has been terrorizing, Eastern Africa. And Kenya, along with Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, they have been in great contact with the U.S. in the anti-terrorism, fight in that region. And they have been consistently performing well. You barely ever hear about terrorism in that region, in recent years. So that's why the U.S. has had confidence in Kenya, and they have elevated them amongst the sub-Saharan African nations, and they want them to be the superpower of sub-Saharan Africa. And it's a shame because Nigeria should be where Kenya is right now. But in Nigeria, as we know, some of the government officials themselves have been implicated in terrorism in that country. So Terry, my brother Terry, the reality is Liberia had a relationship with the U.S. We had an Omega Tower in Liberia when it was a strategic location for the U.S. foreign policy. But after the war, none of those things exist, and the U.S. don't have a strategic foreign policy interest in Liberia anymore. That's why we're not elevated to the level of Kenya other African countries. So that's the answer to that question. But thank you for calling me. I really wanted to make that point.
Okay.
I'll leave it right there.
All right. So it seems to me we all are saying here we need to go back to our roots, know more about ourselves, how we can retain our heritage. And then subsequently, because if we can know about ourselves, we can talk enough about Kavala River, Sisters River, and all of that. And you want to be talking about Euphrates and Na River when you have not even seen. That is insane. And with this whole West African Examination Council now, students now using what? How many weeks? Almost 3 weeks. What the heck is that? 3 weeks. Branding's overload. And then at the end of the day, the graduate, they can't even get anything.
And just one last thing that I learned on this education thing, because I wanted to talk about it, and Elvis came in Minnesota right now. Years ago, the legislature passed a law after many years of people advocating that required, especially for us now in math, the math standards has to include the contribution of Native Americans, Native Minnesotans. When we're writing that standard, a lot of my white counterparts like, how do we find out how these people did math? Well, now it's on you to go learn it, because now we got to teach how the Anishinabes, the indigenous Minnesotans, did mathematics, and so if we include stuff like that in LeBron law, then the educated people like Dr. Mali, like Kai Wule, like Dr. Toto, and all those other people can do the research. But as it is right now, Dr. Malik has no impetus to go do research on that when he doesn't know that it will be used widely in Liberian schools, or that there is a value for it, that somebody will even read it. And so for me, I just want to put that out there, that there are other places doing that. Right now in Minnesota, there is a law that requires in social studies that we teach African-American history. What is wrong with teaching indigenous Liberian history? We've learned all of these Edgeworth Bang Henry history for over and over with Matthew Dripper and King Long John Peters. Where is the Bassa man coming from? Nini is that Bob? We have to get away from that and start to say that as Liberians, we have to first learn who we are, who we were. Yes, the love of liberty brought us here because a lot of us came from other places. Either was from the empires, Asian empires that had collapsed, or they came from slavery. I don't have a problem with that. But we as a people, you cannot teach a history that elevate one set of people and vilify another set of people, which is what Liberian history has been for the longest time.
Okay. So let me bring in Liberal here.
Mr. So hold on 1 minute. Dr. Toto asked question earlier, and what I do know is Indiana State University has the most collective Liberian literature in the whole of the United States.
Yeah. Okay. So on our simple, let's just stay with you, Liberal. I will be nice to you, even though you are not to me, but I'm not going to be that.
I'm not here for kumbaya. And if you're here for my mom, I'm here for you more. I'm not here for kumbaya. You want to ask me a question? Shoot it.
Okay. So then let me go to Dr. Jones.
No. What do you mean you go to Dr. Jones? How can you go to Dr. Jones? You already have me. Dr. Jones has spoken so many times. Why will you go back to Dr. Jones?
You are not the one to determine the directions of this program tonight, unfortunately. I'm going to Dr. Jones. You said if I want to ask you, I should ask you now. I have a second thought. I am going to Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones?
Right. Yeah, thank you very much, CEO. It was good that you had a discerning spirit.
You're going to restore it.
Yeah, it was good that you had a discerning spirit to detect the liberal fighting posture, and you just switched quickly. That was good on your part.
What time you were playing the man for the one liberation?
You see,
oh my goodness.
I don't know whether you noticed. Since I came on the platform, Liberal been drinking one thing, it can't finish. It's like he planning something. So you gotta be careful how you bring his question. That bottle stay filled. It can't go down. It can't go up.
Well, he got a gallon something by him there. He will recharge.
Yeah, you see,
you're still on inside.
The issues Cecil just brought. These are some of the outcome of a patriotic thinker. People who love their country. And even the cause of patriotism need to be taught in our country. How people will love Liberia. Go to Ghana and see how the people love that. They love their country so much that in their immigration law, it's clearly stated there. No foreigner can be employed except when there are no qualified Ghanaians. Every day the people producing thousands and thousands of people. When will foreigner ever get joy in our country? When I graduated from University of Ghana, I had a little job with the UNHCR. The people went there with a delegation and coming to a conference. They said, Marley, you have graduated, but the Liberians are special guests in this country. So go on the camp and relax. When you go home, you use your degree. Where are we going to get to that level? You see, all the good things Sese is saying is very good. But if the people that are sitting up there in Africa, development start with the president, you can carry all the good things. When it don't make sense to the president, forget it. It's not going nowhere. Or where they are the corrupt president, they don't see their commission inside it. They say, we'll look at it. How many of the diaspora are not going to Liberia to present a proposal? Yeah, Liberia there. In his fee, I'm sure he went to Liberia to make few little suggestions. He even get into research how we should do they shut the door on him. He had to find a way to Sacramento. All right? People get so many good ideas. What you introducing now, in the first place, if the education minister sitting down there, it doesn't make sense to him, it becomes a trash. You see? So until one of us can become president to ensure this thing work.
Male 2029.
Or you have President Goya.
I'm waiting for Larry.
No, Male 2029.
Yeah, if you have people like President Goya, trust me, the whole reform, oh man, will start speaking dialect in the classroom. Whether you like it or not, you stay in the government or you get out. All right? But if it doesn't make sense to the president and the education minister advise him and say, oh, Mr. President, this year, a two-stream will be running 18 years since Joseph Jimmy Rawa Day, it does 0. You see? So that's my problem. So until we get to that level, yes, that doesn't mean that you can't make the effort. You see the guy book? I read the guy book more than 5 times. Liberty Hijack. But the whole thing is that it's over politicized. It can't go into the curriculum. That's the boon I'm having with him. And I get my own justification for that. But it's a good piece for the political science department in Liberia. And here is one thing again, Mr. Sese, Mr. Goya. You realize that the curriculum at the University of Liberia is not helping with the development of Liberia at all. We're producing more political scientists than engineers. At the end of the day, the corruption starts to proliferate in our country. My daughter is graduating next year as an administrator from the administrative department whatsoever. She want me to send her some money to sew her suit now, wear tie, she start looking for a job around. In China, there's something I got in China, I will pass it over to Collins. When you put trash in a river in China, if you don't take time, you'll go to jail for a lifetime. The river, you just put trash inside, someone see you, that's trouble. You see? So all these things, these are good ideas. But I noticed in Liberia, we are running our government with too much passion. I noticed that the chief of passion himself, he in the driver's seat now. I don't even know where we're going to go with this thing. The chief of passion, His Excellency President Joseph Boakai, he in the driver's seat now.
And the Liberal and his friends say it's still soon. This is how the independent voices, when the independent voices dissent, you know exactly. Let's go to this number here, 203 number 9037. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. So
here comes
oh, Jesus Christ.
Here comes one of our words.
Breakable can then tell lion can then.
Yes. I beg you, please restore the people freedom tonight, please.
Yeah. And this is what
Freedom Liberation Party. This
is why Mr. Keto is here. He has joined the movement, the right for people to speak. in fight against the liberal and his liberal wing. Mr. Ketter.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother, for a beautiful show tonight. It's so educated, you know. I would like to ask my brother to say, he said something that was very profound on the show tonight. Concerning Lpr County, you know, that war he talked about, trying to, you know, to explain to us how significant our culture is, that we as Liberians, some of us do not even know, and we are studying culture about America and other places and where we don't even know about our culture. You don't think that I'm just asking brothers to say, you don't think that if we go to the source of the information about our culture, people who know what happened in our society back in the villages, you sit with some old people that will tell you story from before settlers came and all that thing. They will tell you real time story that you can document. And then you come here and go to a university that say they compile our history and they got it sitting in one board in the place. You don't think it will be okay for us? Because I during the Civil War, I was able to, you know, live in a couple of places and, you know, up country. And some of the things I heard, it was shocking to me. You know, like, how come these things, other people are not hearing them? And those are things that, you know, can make you sit and think, okay, where these people came from, where the Feder tribe came from, where the Bassa tribe came from, where the Gola people came from, where all these other people came from. How did we get here? You understand? Where before, how we lived, what were our communication skills, how we were able to, you know, control, we're all killing each other. What, you know, these are things we can put together before we start coming now to say, okay, let's take the man, so roast on our book and put it in the Tennessee of what you might call archive and say it's a Liberian history. Because people are still living today that know these things. So we can't skip the source of information and go to Tennessee University to take someone a book there and read. Because most of the things they put in that book are something they want to tell you to know. And our people on the ground sometimes they don't even know about those things. Our indigenous people, and they are the custodians of our history. But we are even when you get educated, unlike, you know, someone like this, people who go back to their heritage, to know these things. For Liberians who leave from those places, who are part of those societies, they came here, they got PhD or whatever, they don't go back there. They consider what is today the so-called or neo-Nazis or whatever history that is front of us. They will never go back to I came from this village of Cotonou or, you know, or Kwakugo village and I want to go up. They don't even tell their children about it. All they tell their children is American history and the rest of the other history. You don't think that it will be okay that we go to the store? We go visit those places and get information.
We are running out of time here. Sister, I think we want you to respond and I'll go to the labor. Maybe, I'm not sure whether the labor still want to take maybe.
I think Keto hit the nail on the head. And that's the reason when I keep talking about the War Crimes Code, I say continuously that I needed for us to understand as educators, as academicians, on how we write about it. So it's the same thing going back to our people. Look, Keto, just one thing I'll tell you real quick, and this is in line with what you're saying, right? I come from one of the biggest towns in Zaza district. It's now a township. It's called Zolowo, right? Zolowo. In Loma, it means it fit here. It is possible here. The reason they called it Zolowo was because there were several clans around, and invading forces, you would just come every time and invade and invade and invade. And so these clans, family heads got together and decided, look, we are in danger. We have to come together and fight together for our survival. So a few clans came together, family heads came together, and they went and the first place to form the town, they formed the town. The invading forces came and defeated them. They ended up finding a place where they have a hill. They built a town on a hill. And everywhere to come to the town is a valley. We stand on the top of the valley. The next hill is where the school is. So you stay in the center of the town, you see the school. But between the school and the town is a deep valley. So every invading force that came to that town had to be fighting uphill. They were never able to defeat those people. And so they named the town Zolowo, as in a fit here, it's possible here. But I'm telling you this story for a reason. Because that town is now a township. We have a high school in that town. There are people graduating from the high school in that town that do not know the history of that town. And there are people living in that town, older people that can still tell the story. But we have not put that into curriculum, or we have not made it into something that our young brothers and sisters graduating from a high school in a town called Lowell does not even understand the significance of what that name means. So yes, Keto, to your point, we still got people living that we need to go to listen to their stories and be able to write it out. And that's the point I keep saying, is we can start somewhere. We can stop some things and we can start little bit of things.
So then let's go to labor here. This seems to be a sort of a huge work, and some of those people who, if not all, but there are a lot of folks who still around. If you can give the story, I mean, there are enough still there who knows the in-depth, and perhaps they higher up on that region. They need to start sitting down with those people to get the script to get things going. Liberal.
Yeah.
Let me just bring you in here. I'm not sure you still stand by that position. You say it's not going to happen on this watch. I don't know. But is there a change in mind that we can potentially get there unless we made some real sacrifice and forget who's going to feed pain down the road? Because this also, it comes with being very strong and making some tough decisions. If we say we want, good government, good society, good country, yes, it comes with pain. Things going to happen down the road. We must be willing to have those changes. It could be a loss, it could be a win, but that's what it comes with. There is no straight jacket on it. Oh, I'm going with this here, you're going to win. People got to feel hurt down the road. Is this president, regardless of what, able to take this sort of lead to push it? We can't just say, even the issue of people say democracy, we say young, how when now? So when we all gone that time with no trouble then came, this one came, that one came, concomitant, so all the people here, why would we say democrat? We still in the young something. We are not in no young, there is no future. Anything called future. We are in the future, we are in the end time. So I am not one of those, say, with this young and the people surround people. These are just bunch of excuses to have bad things to go on and on and on.
Mr. So, as I stood, I'm just waiting to win my lottery, and then we'll take the president from here. I will sponsor the presidentship from here. No, on a very serious note. On a very, I could be if I get $100 and some more $1 million. I spend $5 million. I will win the election. I don't have to $5 million. They don't have to know me. I will win the election.
Ferrari spend more than that, and they stay in win.
Huh?
Somebody driving the Ferrari spend more than that, they stay in win.
Yes.
Tell your own.
Something. The other one looking
no, but Mr. So seriously, this is why I continue to say that a better day of Liberia is way ahead of us.
Which better day?
Goya, excuse me?
Which better day?
Better day? Which day?
200 years guys, when you're talking, I don't say anything.
You're from liberation now to attack also.
Exactly. That's who they are.
The guns that liberate must not rule. The guns that liberate must not rule.
No, yeah, the guns that liberate got to rule.
Look at how he wearing. Says Mabutu. Mabutu says, look at how he wearing. You think you will let me speak? Becky, and the other who married Lola? Hey, Lola, some president from Angola. So
but she was the married Lola, so a real cool plotter.
I tell you, listen to his views. Yeah, on a very serious note, Mr. So,
are you serious?
This is what I say, and I continue to say that the better days of Liberia is way ahead of us. We're not going to remain like this. Cece Goya is just one individual from Minneapolis, from Minnesota. They have tons and tons of Cece Goya all over. Highly educated, very smart people, passionate about their country. They just need to have the opportunity. Now, if we continue to put ourselves in a position where we find ourselves now, Every talk show host, any talk show business you listen to, Liberians are always victimized. They like the victimization stuff. Oh, the people stole our money. The people not doing nothing. The people fail. Who are we? The people who you said they fail, we all used to be under the rain. We all used to be in the same place. These are the people that you give the opportunity to lead you. What did they do? They make you a victim. And so now you cry as a victim. And once you put your mindset into being a victim, the possibility of improving from that victimization process to moving up, it becomes difficult because everything you're sorry for yourself. My daughter, who is in a house right now, she's 31 now, married, have her own kids. But when she was about 5 years old, all I have to do is say, hey, that didn't go down, they are suffering in America, and that girl will cry for almost 2 days. And the reason I'm saying this because we have this kinds of feeling about each other that, hey, I'm suffering. Well, so what? Put it together. You can make it. As long as God gives you the life, you can make it. But there are certain group among us that will look at Sese Goya narrative and say, yeah, it's good, but it will benefit because it will look good. They will not look at the benefit. They are looking at the messenger and how they themselves might not look good, so to speak. And if we continue to go like that, Mr. So, it's going to be difficult. Let me make the announcement very quickly. Very shortly here on this platform, only those that have the ability to praise this president.
All right. No. What are you showing? You can. No. Be
Hold on.
Am I still? You're taking the time away from me?
Yes.
Listen to Mother. Yes.
You
see, I just poured through. It was easy. But anyway, Mr. So, thanks for the show. Wonderful to
that announcement is tantamount to destroying the platform.
Dr. Mane, are you the co-host?
Yes, he's my co-host. He's my co-host.
You see what's going on, right?
And then they have special meeting before the show today.
We will not get on this network and have the labor.
And I pray that you will be successful because all of the things you're pointing out. And here's the funny thing here. Everything you just stated here. Many of the people in Liberia, those that are considered themselves educated, they think about those things. But mere fact that they will collaborate with other people, they think that somebody will overshadow them.
Okay, your time is over, Patron. Your time is over. So this is one of the many reasons Terror will never move by his side. Yeah, he's telling us. He's telling us we should fix society, and then he comes back to kick the can down the road that he coming on this network to praise, sing people. Give me a break. How do you then expect society to embrace you? Terry, the hands to our voice is quite sufficient. You hear it live and well right before the eyes of the public. Yep. This guy, how dangerous is
Don't mind it.
Oh, the man on it is for.
Oh, Terry, let's hear you. So we're going to be making our closing statement before all of us go here. But let's see, one of our new members from the Constitution state, as a matter of fact, Connecticut, they believe in the rule of law. They believe in people's civil liberties. They don't seize.
Who your new member?
It's what are you panicking about? Dr. Jones should be the one to ask, not you.
Yeah, but who the new member?
Are you threatening?
Fatuma, one of your small friends, Fatuma, just sent me a text saying, Mr. So as of tonight, I am on your side. So
I don't think so.
you have already put her over Venetia, also Serrano, so you're on your own. But Terry, let's hear you. This is a good discussion. Cecily, I think we need to work. Maybe the MCSL will start from the lower level and start going. Or when I say lower level, to start getting the doors on the trees, and then we get out like our own Moravia consolidated school system. The system needs to be cleared out. But Terry, let's hear you. Is there any good way to see these things happen, or will we still be in this sort of fantasy land? It's still soon. This government is a new government. The people around you. It was the same crap yesterday. The people around George, we cross-pollinated this conversation again to say the people around there at the end of the day, what? We allowed the president to say, no, it's not the president. People are saying Maggie, this and that. I don't blame Maggie, whatever he did. It is the president who brought Maggie closer. So if he feels Maggie were not doing the right thing, let him go. So this train chauffeur is Dr. Joseph White, Ambassador Joseph White, President of the Republic of Nigeria. If the president feels any member of his cabinet, any member of his ministerial or agency does not represent his political ideology and the thing they want to come do something, if that person screwed up, we will hold him accountable because he brought them. Do you or no do you?
Yes, Mr. So, that is right. It is his responsibility to make sure to deliver.
The doesn't want to agree with it. That's why he's just sitting out there. He's feeling very uncomfortable with things that I'm saying right now.
Yeah, actually, I agree that it's the president's responsibility. But like I said, it's an indigenous leadership in power. I would be surprised that President Boka would not initiate somebody's very beautiful analogy of Sisi Goyo, because he's indigenous. He's an indigenous leader. He's supposed to stand for the rights of his people, because that is what it is. Like an indigenous struggle to come to power. President Doe was there. He was eliminated. Now we have what his name? Dr. Weah Too King, and they all kind of stuff. Now we have the elderly statesman who knows and supposed to be well informed as to how these things work, given the fact that education is part of his arrest agenda. So we hope to see that some of these initiatives are adhered to. But one of the obstacles that I see is that most of the history that Tisse is talking about, like he rightly said, most of the people don't even know. Like I just said about Looking Town, most people don't even know that Looking Town and the whole entire bourgeois island was under King Alboso, and he had two sons, Jacob and Somogbi. And you go to Looking Town, there is only a small town now there that is called named after called Town. But the real owner of the entire bourgeois island, it was under Somogbi, which was one of the sons of King Alboso. So, there are so many history that people don't really know. They don't really have knowledge of, but this history cannot be admissible into our curriculum until it is fully piled up, consolidated, and then presented with accuracy. And then maybe it can be discussed by the House and admissible by law into the curriculum of the whatsoever, or I may be wrong. So, these things will take time to be admissible, because like what Sisi just explained, I never heard it before. So how authentic it is, that story have to be followed up. That story have to be gathered by people that the education ministry is going to, enforce. That will require resources. It will require money. It will require resources to do all of these things. Is the government prepared to do that now? Is it part of the arrest agenda? What have been the policy that they laid down to engage some of these things, or what are the strategies that they have installed to open up the educational sector, that people who are well informed will come with this information that will help to brace the educational sector to take it to another level? So all of these things are we look at, and whether if they will be able to have a budget set within the next 6 years that will meet up with all of these kind of recommendations. So we got to look at all that. But I think it's capital intensive. I think it will be welcoming because we have to be informed about what's going on and what have happened in Liberia in every county. That would be a very good thing.
Okay, well, guys, the old man on the wall time has caught up with us, so we're going to do a 1 minute each departing. I think you see how the conversation was very peaceful. It was very base sharing. Everybody was given the opportunity. Nobody being cut off from calling. Nobody threatening anybody. This is what we maintain. That's how independence network works. But we will stand up to those who want to put the voice.
Tomorrow show, I'm not sending you a Mari link. You don't know that.
Oh, we are hearing you on the mic, though.
Maybe someone me, Mr. Soul.
You Terry, any what you say?
Oh yeah, but
yeah, I heard it.
Wow. Sese, I'm coming to you. Sese,
do you know that the law work? The law work in a mysterious way?
The guy Marco, he uttered Jesse Jackson and Obama. You hear tomorrow you are not sending you a Mali and Kettle link. You know that one. Wow, liberal caught on the mic. Wow. Father God, continue to expose those who are against the masses. Volleyball, fire them. Wow.
That liquor talk.
That prayer and small prayer, Mr. Su.
That liquor talk.
Wow. What? Ketra?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
You see how the mysteries of God and the work of God is so. Oh Lord Jesus Christ.
So brother, microphone technician, anything on microphone?
Yeah.
Thank you, oh Lord, for exposing the evil, the axis of evil on the network. The man microphone was over. It was open here. Tomorrow, Mali and you're not getting it. Oh, I will play that recording. I will put your picture on it. So your fans will know who you are. So Joseph Boyka will know how unrealistic, unreliable you are. Okay, let's hear you, Terry, before we go. Not Terry, Keto, what's your last word? 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, good show. Very educational. I think we have more of this discussion. But I want to just. I know it's difficult for us. We have been through this thing over and again. We have not seen any result where we tend to support an individual or political institution in our country, and they fail miserably. I think if we start looking at Liberia, as a bigger picture, I think we will move past that because, when this time I'm not going to put my trust, like I said before, I'm not putting nothing in no political figure. I'm going to put my trust in the system. And if you come and say you're going to change the system, you're going to make it better, you must do it because nothing you do in our country that, will not be cool will benefit me. If you build roads, because the people put you there to build roads, you're not doing it for them to praise you. If you build schools, you say you can build schools, the people put you there and they got the money so you can build schools. So I'm not going to give you praise. You're only doing what you promised the people to do, and the people give you the authority to go ahead and do it. So the whole thing about praising our leaders and defending them and putting them on the pedestal where, even if they go wrong, we don't see it. I think we should move past that to help develop our nation. And I'm gonna give Sisse, a big, pat on the back for championing, this whole thing about our culture, embracing our culture. Look, it hurt me. And I got additional, and I got also American Liberian background. But I'm more connected to my regional background over the years. I see what I saw living in American Liberian setting. I see it and I understand it. I went to villages, I lived in villages, I see it firsthand. Our country is so rich, our culture is so rich. For somebody else to come from somewhere who have never tasted our culture, seen our culture, to read a book and we sit and read it, and we accept it and call ourselves educated people. I'm like, wow, why is it that you can't listen to Cecilia? She said, go all the way to Kalabuni, go all the way back in the villages and see those people how they live. That we can document it, how they live, and bring it to our education system and say, look, teach these people our culture so that we can go on. Somebody say, are you Liberian? Yeah. So we start telling them the diversity of our country, how our people survive, and everything. The education, instead of me learning how to the Indian Ocean and the Airport Tower, who will know about all those kind of things? And I go to find out remember it. But when they come to Liberia, let them know about the Great Wall of Lofa County that defended the French and the Guineans for infiltrating our borders. We won't know about all those stories.
Thank you
so
understand?
Much. So thank you so much for the show. Let us be more patriotic in the sense that we can put our country and putting political party and individual first. Thank you so much.
So independent wise, what you think about tonight's show? We're not hearing you. We're not hearing you.
Tonight's show.
You are muted.
So, in all seriousness, and that's why my closing statement said we should put our country first and personality or party or how we got this feeling for this old man. As a matter of fact, I don't see the old man ruling my country. I see a political leader. So when he screw up, I'm gonna call him for that. I don't care about how people feel. I'm gonna just call it for what it is. Because if that means in 6 years, when our country goes in the dream, it's not gonna be because he was old. I'm gonna judge him for what he did to our country. But again, the show was it was conducted professionally.
Objective.
People, expressed their opinion. I didn't hear nobody on the sideline. I heard the liberal talking. But it's sad. But this beautiful platform for the liberal to censor voices and want people to speak his language when he himself was saying denigrating things about a former leader. But you want people to speak your language because it's an old man. I'm an old man in politics. When you come to politics, you can wear the political jacket. But
look, Keto, I guarantee you with your support, Dr. John, Terry, Sese coming board, the liberal and his Jerry account will die premature. Not natural there, but their voices, their voices will not overshadow our voices. Thank you so much. Terry?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
What's your closing statement?
Yeah, actually, what's his name? Keto worries a lot. He unbreakable. I see breakable writing plenty here. All the way we're talking about education, all of that breakable still want bring Joseph Walker Benedict. So I know and Keto still want bring again. The problem here with you guys that just make me see you guys as people who not real to yourself and to your own country is that you guys' inability to even criticize President Weah missteps. You never did that. You never criticized President Weah. All the 6 years he had in power, all his messy things that his government did, you didn't criticize it. But we are brave enough to come and say, look, President Boga, in your 4 months, these are some of the things that you're not doing that you need to do. And then we still support it. But then you want us to just relinquish to see the old man and say you have failed in 4 months. That is unacceptable. The man have been given 6 years. Give him a chance. Let's see whether if he will continue to fail. So these are the things. But thank you very much for the show. But what I have to say is that, thank you, Sisse, too, for those great points. But I want to leave with this, that, George Bush came to Liberia in February 21, 2008, when Madam Shirley was president, and he gave 1 million books. You understand? Because apparently that is how they see us. They don't see us to be a country of interest to the American policy, foreign policy, but yet and still we bear the name that we are allies. So I think in my mind, can Liberia find another means for help in order to improve?
Sissy, the old man, he pushing your finger and all around finding his fans a comment. So your sanction, oh my goodness.
Can Liberia look somewhere else as the way Africa now is boiling and yearning for support. Can Liberia look somewhere else since we no more fit in the American policy? So we got to have these conversations because it is it's getting very scary that every now and then Liberia is pushed on the curb and is not really giving attention to because of her inability to meet up with certain standards. And I think that is our problem. We are not being able to please the West. But however, it was a good show. Thank you very much.
No, but let me just ask you, in the interest of fairness, independence, objectivity, balance, proportionate to allow people to speak their mind.
And then you're gonna let Martin talk after this?
Are you asking me, Mr. So?
I was speaking to one of the moderates who always say as it is. Yeah, Terry.
Well, yeah, you like I said, you and Liberal are not equal when it comes to media dissemination of information.
No. That's not what I asked you. I said objectivity, independence, allowing voices to be heard.
Yeah, now I will plead the fifth because I can throw my papa under the bus. I'll plead the fifth. I'm Donald Trump. I'll plead the fifth.
Wow, this is unbelievable. Okay, Mr. Goya, I think this conversation, I think we need to kind of escalate, elevate it to different. I think hopefully maybe you can get some of your folks, and not just only Liberia. And I think I applaud groups coming together, professionals. I'm quite sure that's something the Liberal maybe will work with the Engineering Society. I know they have their organization, but to revamp. And I think it is incumbent upon everybody now, it's professional group, to put themselves together and make their presence felt within their country to government, because whether they voted for them or not, because those people, and that's the danger of politics. And this is why it is dangerous when you have people to incite themselves into it, then the silent voices. And this is where Dr. Jones and myself, we can't claim, because we are not for anyone. So we can go into any negotiation room to talk to anybody, but not with the Liberal, because he has a side. And he's making public declaration here that people will not come on his show unless you sing the song he wants you to sing. That's not the Liberal that I want to see today. Sister Goya.
Yeah, good show tonight. Two things. Terry, I understand your hesitance. You are correct. There are sometimes you got to be able to verify oral history. But to those of us who are listening, I will point you to a book that I read when I was doing my teacher training, and it's on Amazon. It's called "Lies My Teacher Told Me." Everything you got wrong, everything American history textbook got wrong. Lies my teacher told me. I'll tell you all of the lies in American history. We're still learning those. For example, that George Washington never told a lie, right? Because history, as used by powerful countries like America, the Great Britain, and Russia, they are meant to be propaganda to build a sense of nationalism and patriotism. That's what it's about. There is truth in it, but it's always peppered with other things. But I do get the point. I do get the point you're trying to make. All I'm saying is right now, what we have is grossly incorrect, and it needs to be changed, right? That's the point I'm making. But more besides, even if we can't study the Yellow War for the historical benefit, we can study it for its mathematical contribution or its architectural contribution. Okay, stay there. You can go look at architecture, right? Or we can study it for the chemical composition. What were those mud and rock? What kind did they use to hold those things together for these many years, over 100 years, right? So even if we're not looking at the Guinean forces, how many were they on the other side and the other pieces, you can study it for so many other things. In the same as Lower Township, we have a monkey bridge that we build almost every 6 years or almost every 10 years. There is a lot of mathematics in there. There's a lot of physics in there, right? There are a lot of chemistry in there, because even the rope that get used, our people will tell you when the water will rise how high has it risen before, and they use that data to build a monkey bridge. And in my lifetime, that monkey bridge has never been under the water, and the water has never risen to a point where it takes away the monkey bridge, because our people have been using their understanding of the river and how the seasons have been. And it will tell you where the river has crested the highest and the lowest, and they build their bridge. So even forgetting about the historical contribution, but there are young people in that same lower town that their teachers haven't understood the mathematical contribution of the monkey bridge. Those are some of the points that I'm making, right? Like, we don't have to go back and say, okay, you know, a lot of things here, we can listen to them and say, okay, there will be oral history. But if you just look at their wall, how many architecture students have been down there from the University of Liberia to go and look at the architecture and see what led to it being this strong? What was the foundation? What are the rocks that, do we have geology students that have been able to look at the rocks that were used in there, and why certain rocks made it to last that long? We haven't. And that's the point I'm making. And the war is still there. Right? That's the point I'm making. But, you know, good show. We will keep pushing it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Not going to go away. We're gonna bring a lot of people. If it means we establish a whole new show on LPR just on that piece, get educators, get students, get caregivers, get a lot of people together. We are gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what we need to shift the gear now.
We need to do that.
To have all of these people, those people that we cannot exclude them. If they are not part of the society is just incomplete. Thank you so much. Let me bring in the liberals. We don't sanction voices.
I want to be last. Bring Mali
either speak or
the co-host.
Yeah, well, they close me down. I wanted to bring Mali in first.
CEO.
I know exactly what they want to do.
You see, this is how this coup d'etat can start from in Africa. He wants to take over the palace now. When he here as a contributor, he telling me who to be, why, and why not to be. The liberal progressive.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
I will make use of his time. CEO.
Okay. So Miles Jones, the liberal has surrendered and had bundled his people tonight.
That's why you wearing glasses, because you come and you stand. That's why you put in glasses to address me.
Hold on, you don't speak in.
Dr. Manager, you're not serious though.
Hold on, you don't speak in. Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
Again, victory is certain. The liberal is being, he felt intimidated by your presence, by calling your name, by my, you know, he tries to rewrite the history, but that's not going to happen. So let me hear from you, Dr. Jones, as you're about to take her home. So let me, in the interest of fairness, I'm going to go back to the liberal again. The liberal, are you ready to make your closing statement?
If I'm ready, what?
Are you ready to make your closing statement?
I'll be the last.
These are the high people. These are some of the high people that
CEO,
yeah.
We can continue to tolerate resistant forces on this.
Hey, yeah, terminology, resistant forces.
Boja boys.
We don't want for the platform to collapse.
Dr. Mali, is that kind of forces?
Resistant. Well, we try to work with the liberal, but if the liberal say not willing to remove a glove, we got to move on. We can also put a glove. The platform going to come.
We can hold hundreds of folks here. One single person to want to have his way. This is how conflict derail, and this is how trouble comes into a country.
We're not going to do that.
We don't force people when they don't want to speak out. That's not who we are. We don't do that. That's not what democracy. People have the right to vote, not to vote. We give people free will. We don't tell people.
So
we don't take people.
You using that Dr. Mali time? Because you're not using my time.
You don't have right. You don't have no time yet again.
CEO, thank
Listen,
God.
Esther, the network will shut down tomorrow.
The way Jared Bako ain't gone, he's gonna relay Jared Bako and play with it. And
thank God the co-host saw the heat coming, and anyway, we're good, he didn't come, but the co-host is looking at when he around, it's not easy. But anyway, on a very serious note, I think we had a very good program tonight. And yesterday, a group called me to serve as their resource person in one of their little discussion. And I think they were just exactly they were playing into Mr. Goya playbook. They are thinking about establishing a Liberian cultural center. They strongly believe that most of our children are born here are being disconnected to our culture. They don't even know Liberia. They don't even know the value system. And so they invited me, and I was serving as a resource person. And I even told them the issue of the Liberian value system, the Paulo and Sunday society. These are things the children don't even know. In fact, the children, some of their counterparts tell them in the school that in Liberia we live in a tree. They say, oh, my daughter, I said, Daddy, they say, where you come from in Africa, you can live in a tree. How possible when the breeze is blowing? How do you sleep?
The wind would be only the
my daughter is asking me. He said, Daddy, you people can have a bucket shower. Can you imagine? Bucket shower. I said, what is that? He said, the water in the bucket, you got to be bending down more than 700 times before you finish taking bath in the bathroom. And they get playing around the place before you wake up, your whole bike hurting you. Now we get I said, no, we don't have bucket shower in our place there. I said, we also take a different. So it's like the bottom line here is that even the issue of our cultural value system. But again, here is the issue. This coming July will be Liberia 177-year-old. We have been infiltrated by this so-called Western cultural system to the point where even the panelists will agree with me. For someone ought to even call our native name in this country in gathering, so now we get shame.
Oh yeah.
So even speak our vernaculars, so now we get shame. When you call my country name in gathering, I call you on the side. Don't call her name again. What are you talking about? Don't you know I'm Lincoln? Don't you know I'm Johnson Smith? You see? So it's like most of us have got first name, last name, because we are in denial of our even cultural name. Yes, Mr. Goya said now, he got cultural name when he was born. You see? So some of these things are necessary so that until we can embrace these things, it will become a problem. That's why one time I said on the show, I said one of the successful organization or group in this country that we need to look up to define for all how they're holding together, what is their secret, is the people from Grand Jira County. The people from Grand Jira County, the holding in this country, have been following their track record when it comes to organization. When it comes to one person getting involved.
The two different GGA.
Yeah, I talk about the and I even realized that it was even trickled down to me when the CEO had to abandon. Those are all the Nigerian spirit. You see? And the CEO going with me for my graduation, it was not just symbolic. He was telling me there's a need for cultural unity. That's why he was telling me, but I didn't pick it up. I didn't pick it up because
I
had been recognized.
Most of them went over there to see you graduate our culture thing.
No, he was telling me, he was giving me a message, but I didn't pick that message up.
Wow.
Yes. All right.
We're still on his out.
So what we're seeing here is that most of us have gone to school in this place now, and going back to culture now, it become a war. There's time now that we'll look at some of these things. Like for instance, the last time Mr. Collins was attacking the female genital mutilation thing. The white man is telling us that this thing is wrong. The poorer society thing. The white man is telling us that poorer society, all these things are enslavement and this and that. We can't listen to this thing there. We got to incorporate this thing. The female genital mutilation, we got to review it.
Okay, Deacon. Okay.
It has a cultural value in it, and we got to review it.
I support you on the one year, Dr. Mali.
Very good.
Thank you, Deacon. Thank you, Deacon, Dr. Mali.
Yeah, and the issue of our tribe. When I went to the University of Ghana,
how long?
Yeah, I come in now. The Twi language. If you don't speak it, you will not graduate. I'm telling you the truth. All right, you don't speak that thing that you will not graduate in that school. I'm telling you. You see, so there's a need. Even our tribe, the origin, where they come from, the meaning. We're supposed to be speaking tribe to that place.
When the language used to be embedded into the school system, right? I don't know how can it just got out of that.
When our president comes here,
thinking about it, but
when our president come here, he's supposed to be speaking vernaculars to the United Nations. Let it interpret it. Other people do it. The Arab do it. Other people do it. Why we can't do it? Go speak Pele. Let it interpret it. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay, Dr. Jones, thank you.
Now you can go to the
independent voice at the center. Okay. Dr. Jones, we are forgiving people.
Yes.
Right? We allow people, we give people second chance. We are very compassionate. We are very much forgiving. Even when people starve and execute or take us into the lion's den, we say, Father God, deliver us from the hands of the evils. Let me bring in the liberal. I'm waiting to see whether he will be reciprocate like what I'm doing, what we are doing now to him, right, Dr. Jones? Liberal, what's your closing statement?
Thank you for the show, Sister Goya. Thank you very much for being this explicit on things you believe in. And on a very serious note, your way of delivering your message on point is very enticing for those of us that listen to you. And I really do appreciate that. I think if you continue to do this, I'd say most people might think, oh, Sister Koya showing up because you know this, you know that, or Sister Koya is attacking this and what have you. But if they just look on a little bit, they will find out that what you're trying to do is to establish a system to improve on, probably to improve on an existing. What am I coming by for? We're closing you. We're coming by for, we're closing you. We're not there you talk. I mean, you know, right now.
Before you're not, you see,
Something told you not in charge.
Anyway, thank you. Time finish. Amos Joy.
Hold on.
No. You said we'll not talk.
I'm finished. So, sister, very serious though. I think we just pray that the folks back home will listen to you, and they shouldn't use this. Oh, the man want to change, then he can't hear. Those kinds of behavior will not be helpful because you can stay right there in Minnesota and help the situation back home. Right there, with this in the nice, you don't need to. So I really want to take this thing up and say thank you very much. Keep it up, Mr. So and the rest of the conservative. Good night. Tomorrow is our time. Good night. You're gonna sleep well. I will see you. Bye. But please don't worry about Sister Esther. She can come in. She will take the Tylenol, she said, and let her come and watch the show tomorrow. Let Sister Esther take the Tylenol and come and sit in. She will be part of the show.
Please don't fight. Don't fight with our viewers, our listeners. It's unacceptable. You don't do that.
Mr. So, thank you and good night.
Is that a palm wine you're drinking? Or
what are you drinking there?
That my granddaughter juice.
I beg you, yeah.
Oh, how far you going now to be
granddaughter juice now?
How far you going now? When they go to bed, and you take it.
They taking them. In the morning, said, Grandpa, what my bottle is there? Don't ask about bottle.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I want right into that one. Forget it.
Grandpa, what my bottle? Don't ask me. Go to the
Okay, guys. Amos Joy, give us 30 seconds.
Hello, Mr. So I just want to say a great show tonight. And the topic that Sister introduced, it dear to my heart, because many Liberians never read Murder in the Kisara Park.
Yeah, they let Imagine
that book was interpreted into French. The French people interpret that story into French. And the men that wrote the story, is not even taught in your country.
No.
They let that the William Songaro.
Yeah.
These were the original Liberian writer. I mean, that the same one who wrote that book. But what on some literature and Baltimore that relate directly to the setting of African people. Yes. So I just want to say thank you, and Cesar will continue to push this line. I know people say, yeah.
Time has caught up with us. What a big surrender by the liberal this evening from the hands of moderate Democrats.
Please for that. You go and put some milk in that baby bottle and put it back. I want that.
I'm going to call a wife to say if you don't find the children do that one big cat in your can be drinking you know me, so I call it off.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Mr. Goya, as usual, always Terry. Thank you so much, Amos George, and to all our valuable listener viewers. Please send in your suggestions with respect to maybe some of the things that you want us to talk about. We can look out there and talk about it. Everything can be politics all of the time. We need to look at our education, the health, our own culture, and just some other social issues, because these things, it does impact our society, and they are kind of like it's a problem. So we want to be having these sort of conversations. So until then, folks, guys, thank you so much, Goya. Good to have you back here.
Good night.
I think the Minnesota school system, we need to tell them now they gotta give her a break. Okay, Pa George, thank you so much. Well, folks, until then, I'm Afonso Zienso, Esther, Fatima, and all of our great people. We say thank you so much for being here. But watch out for this program coming soon on Lpr-Tv from our Abidjan Bureau Chief, Benjamin Tibet, with this program.
Life is a journey, and as you travel down the line, you may remember something, the joy and tragedy in a story manner.
I'd like to remember that at one point of my life, growing up was very, very difficult for me as a child.
The Liberia Public Radio gives you the opportunity in a live interview to express your past. In this program, I Remembered.
I remember, and I will never forget my day of salvation.
And I remember growing up as a child, when I lost my dad, it was a very terrible time of healing.
Join Benjamin Tibet, our international correspondent, on +225 07 4770 9404, +225 0505 675438. I Remembered, the podium where your voice is heard.
There you have it. I remember with our man Ben Tibet, based in Abidjan, La Côte d'Ivoire, in a special documentary coming soon right here on the Diaspora Informative News Magazine. Until then, I think I have my microphone minute, but Benjamin Tibet will be coming over his program very shortly here on LPR. I remember it will be a real lifetime history of things that happen to people, things that they can recall, and they will get those narrative up. Until then, folks, have a pleasant evening. Thank you so much. Don't hesitate to send your suggestions as to how we can enhance conversations and things that we need to do. Sometimes we have to poke fun into the conversation, but we seriously mean what we say. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye. prayers and thought goes out to the bereaved family. That's comrade Sam G. Brown, right here, passed away in the ocean state of Rhode Island. He will be laid to rest. Our understanding from what we are hearing from families, June the 21st and 22nd, right here in Rhode Island. Our prayers and thought goes out to the bereaved family, the wife and children. And also a good friend and brother, comrade Kelvin Duigi. He's another person that passed actually yesterday morning after setting out. Daughter supposed to be graduating from college. There's some cleaning out in the house, set of things according to family sources, get everything ready. It should be this coming week and Sunday. On it, brother, to go take a rest. And that was the end of hand. No more communication. Nothing came out that we can say. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And that's comrade Kevin Doigi. We say it our prayers and thought goes out to the family as well.
Magia, guess I went I wrote.